Elvision's words were extremely important to them, especially Chi plus and Jiang Xing. Even though they were the peak experts of the primordial era, they did not understand anything about it. Elvision's words were extremely important to them, especially Hi plus and Jiang Xing. Even though they were the peak experts of the primordial era, they did not understand anything about it. Senior Lu, this means that you must have divine deity. Chen Xiang laughed. I didn't expect that after disappearing for so many years, you have so many experiences. Elvision only laughed and agreed. With his own strength, he could suppress the L prince for so long, so he must be very strong. The current Hi plus and Jiang Xing both didn't have his strength. The reason why I have such a deep understanding of divine deity is because I have stayed in the devil-killing summit for a period of time. As long as I work hard, I will be able to obtain a lot of benefit. Elvision said. I suggest that you all make a trip to Devil-Killing Summit before the Devil-Killing Summit's GODS leave. Hi plus and Jiang Xing nodded. They had tried to condense divine deity many times over the years, but to no avail. They knew that only the GODS of GODS realm could help them condense divine deity. At night, Hi plus and Jiang Xing returned back to their rooms to rest. During today's battle, they had expended a lot of energy and were a little tired, so they had no choice but to rest. The boat was currently invisible, so it flew towards the divine fire forest at a relatively fast speed. Jiang Xing, who was resting, would split some of his divine power to control the boat. Chen Xiang had not refined the spirit that was devouring him yet, so he ate the pills that were refined using the Saint Realm expert. At the moment, he was extremely spirited, and Long Xue had already gone back to rest inside the ring long ago. Elvision was also very spirited at this moment, and was looking out of the window in the hall. Senior Lu, how is Sister Qilian now? Chen Xiang asked. I haven't seen her for a long time. I wonder what level she has risen to after breaking through the bottleneck. Elvision knew that Chen Xiang had been of great help to him, and he was extremely grateful to Chen Xiang in his heart. I'm not too sure either. In short, after I gave her a set of divine deity, she had been in closed-door cultivation the entire time. This child's comprehension ability is very high. If she were to come out, I think she would be worthy of the Tli 100 Blossom Emperor. Elvision sighed. For all these years, I have never done my duty to her. I hope that the divine deity that I gave her can be repaid. It was normal for his father to send his daughter a set of divine deity. Chen Xiang was just curious how Elvision had managed to get such a set of divine deity. Senior, where did you get your divine deity? Chen Xiang asked with a smile. I'm not afraid to tell you, but you'd better not learn from me now. I almost couldn't come back in the past. Elvision lowered his voice and said, I snuck into the most powerful place in Hell and killed 2 Hell demons. I was originally going to give a girl to my wife, but she had a stubborn temper and insisted on refining it herself. In the end, I gave a girl to Qilian, who is currently in closed-door training with her sister. Hell demon God? Are these guys very strong? What sort of status do you have in the infernal realm? Chen Xiang's heart moved. He also wanted to go to Hell to take a look, hunt a few Hell demons and get some divine deity. Elvision shook his head. Not many. The Hell demon GODS are also GODS. They cannot be ordered by the Hell demon Yenjing. They are only sent from above to supervise the Hell devil emperor, but that's just for show, so killing them is not a big deal. If you can cultivate a emperor soul and get rid of the Hell devil emperor's tracing mantra, then you can head to Hell to take a look. With good luck, you should be able to obtain divine deity. If you get those divine deity, you must use your heart to purify the consciousness inside so that you can give them to others, otherwise you will harm others. Elvision smiled slightly. As long as you understand how to use the devil-suppressing magic power, coupled with your ability to refine pills, I believe that after you go to H.E.L.L., you will also have a good harvest. Chen Xiang nodded and asked again, if those H.E.L.L. demon G.O.D.S. were killed, wouldn't G.O.D.S. realm investigate? Will they still be sent back? I'm not sure about that, but I know that there are no lack of small deities in the G.O.D.S. realm that possess divine deity. Those who are sent to the infernal realm are usually those who have been caught in violation of the rules in the G.O.D.S. realm, which is equivalent to being sent there. Chen Xiang suddenly thought of something and anxiously asked, Senior, have you ever heard about the May Emperor? When LV Zhen heard the two words, May Emperor, he immediately frowned and nodded. I have heard of it. Back then, when I was in Devil Killing Summit, I had also been warned by the elders there that after leaving, you must be careful of a woman called May Emperor. It's just that I have never met her before. Is there any way to guard against her? Hearing LV Zhen's words, Chen Xiang's heart immediately became heavy, because this May Emperor was obviously very capable, to even warn the deities in the Devil Killing Summit like that. I once asked A.G.O.D. in the Devil Killing Summit. He said that the May Emperor's charm was innate, and with the enhancement from the acquired cultivation, it is very powerful. Her charm came from the G.O.D.S. realm, and it is said that she trained the same as the charm G.O.D.S. in the G.O.D.S. realm. The May Emperor is actually related to the G.O.D.S. realm. Feng Yujie and the May Emperor were clearly closely linked, and Feng Yujie also possessed that kind of innate charm power that was even stronger than the May Emperor himself. He suspected that the birth of Feng Yujie and the May Emperor was most likely related to the G.O.D.S. realm itself. Because the cultivation technique the May Emperor cultivates comes from, and is a rather powerful one, so in the Devil Killing Summit, we will often receive training to resist the charm, but it isn't of much use. In the end, after I left the Devil Killing Summit, I created my own demon-subduing heart formula. Elvision laughed faintly. The May Emperor's charm is mainly directed at males. It is able to arouse the demonic desires in the depths of the males' hearts, making it infinitely large, and even the strong can't resist it. In the end, the May Emperor will use his own body to satisfy the evil desires of the strong. When the other party was venting his vile desires, the moment at the peak would also be the moment where his mind would be the most negligent. He would control her mind and plant her spirit seed. Only someone with strong willpower will be able to escape. If you can't, you will become her slave, no matter how strong you are. Chen Xiang was very serious when he heard it. Elvision was not lying. As for the demon-subduing heart art, it is mainly used to suppress the strong lust that is aroused in one's heart. At the same time, it also eliminates all distracting thoughts in one's heart. Not only can it deal with the power of charm, it is also used when one is training. First, use this cultivation technique to remove all distracting thoughts in one's heart, then practice other cultivation techniques would have a better effect. Chen Xiang said somewhat excitedly, Senior, you're really awesome. Can you pass this technique to me? Of course you can. You're my best disciple, and I have a great affinity with you. If I don't pass it to you, who else can I pass it on to? Elvision chuckled. His finger lightly tapped on the center of Chen Xiang's brows, and then he said the demon-subduing heart art to Chen Xiang. Of course you can. You're my best disciple, and I have a great affinity with you. If I don't pass it to you, who else can I pass it on to? Elvision chuckled. His finger lightly tapped on the center of Chen Xiang's brows, and then he said the demon-subduing heart art to Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang immediately thanked him. Senior, can I pass on this cultivation technique to others? I heard that the Mei Emperor is also very deadly towards women. Chen Xiang asked. Elvesian laughed. Of course you can, but you don't need to worry about your wife. I have already said the demon suppressing clear heart technique to Qilian and the others. Right now, Qilian views the Mei Emperor as a big enemy. She said that she will take good care of your wife for you. In fact, the Mei Emperor's charm can only be used on weaker girls. If it was a girl with strong powers, it would be very difficult to deal with her. Elvesian saw that Chen Xiang had stopped talking and patted his head. Brat, there are always many strange questions for you, and all of these things are things that I am interested in. You can ask me whatever else you want. I want to know about the 9 Heaven Devil Palace. I feel like this has a lot to do with the Devil Killing Summit. The chaos fire in Chen Xiang's hands was something that could summon a 9 Heaven Devil Palace. Elvesian frowned and nodded. The things you are asking about are indeed all secrets. I know a little about the 9 Heaven Devil Palace, but it has nothing to do with the Devil Killing Summit, so the GODs of the Devil Killing Summit do not dare to casually enter the 9 Heaven Devil Palace. In the legends, it is said that the 9 Heaven world was born after the different elements in the endless heaven realm had softened and given birth to the world for millions of years. That's right, but at that time there was an external source of power that allowed for the appearance of the 9 Heaven world. Chen Xiang was a little excited. All the secrets he learned were from the GODs. It was very reliable. He listened very carefully. Elvesian paused for a moment before continuing. The amount of energy leaked by the various endless heaven realms is extremely high, and there will be a large amount of energy being leaked at every moment. This energy gathered together and formed the shape of the 9 Heaven world. At that time, it was called primal chaos, and many ancient sacred beasts were born at that time. Following the birth of the 9 Heaven world, many ancient sacred beasts also descended on the 9 Heaven world. The beginning of the history of the 9 Heaven world was many years after Hi Plus and the others were sealed away by the dust, and now, we have finally seen the light of day again. Chen Xiang nodded her head. I have to say, those guys back then were really powerful. Even now, they are still that powerful. Elvesian laughed. Of course, they should be the guardians of this 9 Heaven world. Their powers are obviously strong. Go on, tell me more about the 9 Heaven Devil Palace. 9 Heaven Devil Palace was born before the 9 Heaven world, and it is said that it was built by a group of GODs. They lived inside it, controlling the leaked power of the endless heaven realm day and night to nurture the 9 Heaven world. Hearing to this point, Chen Xiang was a little confused, and asked, Why aren't you called the Divine Palace but the Demon Palace? Elvesian replied. At the time, it was very strange, but the GODs in the Devil Killing Summit told me that it was because when the 9 Heaven world was born, all the GODs there had been bewitched and died inside. Based on their speculations, it was likely that those GODs had created 9 Heaven world, violated some natural law principles that even some deities could not access, and then received punishment. Chen Xiang took out those chaos fires. He still had 2 chaos fire that he had yet to fuse with. These chaos fire had been of great help to him over the years. I heard that as long as I absorb 7 chaos fires, I can summon the 9 Heaven Devil Palace. Chen Xiang muttered. You better not try. If the 9 Heaven Devil Palace appears and it comes at this time, a large number of experts will definitely die. Now that the Endless Heaven Realm has accepted the existence of the 9 Heaven World, they are prepared to establish a channel with the 9 Heaven World. At that time, the Endless Heaven Realm and the 9 Heaven World will be connected, and the moment the 9 Heaven Devil Palace appears, many experts will go in to take a look out of curiosity. Elvesian said seriously, Of those who enter, only 1 in 10,000 will be able to leave. You'd better use it cautiously. Chen Xiang took a deep breath and nodded. He did have the impulse to summon out the 9-Heaven Devil Palace just now, because he heard that some gods had died inside. What a terrifying evil power! Elvision's face changed, and immediately left the Hi+P. Chen Xiang did not feel it. He immediately woke Long Shui up. Although Jiang Xing was resting, he controlled the boat and knew that someone was leaving. He immediately walked out of the room. What's going on? Jiang Xing asked. He did not feel the evil energy that Elvision mentioned either. I don't know. Senior Lu said that there is a very strong evil force here. Chen Xiang frowned, but I didn't sense anything. Jiang Xing handed Chi Hi+ over and the few of them went outside. Elvision stood at the bow of the Hi+P, frowning as he looked forward with a serious face. What is that thing that's so powerful? Is it even scarier than the Hel Prince? Chen Xiang asked. Although Hel Prince is powerful, he is also a guy who is afraid of death. If we meet someone who isn't afraid of death, then we'll be in trouble. Elvision's voice was heavy. What could it be? Jiang Xing looked around. He did not sense even the slightest bit of evil qi. Originally, Chi's Hi+ did not feel it either, but as the boat continued to move forward, his face gradually changed and became extremely ugly. Chen Xiang and Jiang Xing were both at a loss. Long Shui came out from the ring and stood at the bow of the Hi+P. Her expression was somewhat ugly as she looked ahead. Is it really that guy? How could it appear here? The cold wind forest was cold to begin with, and at this time there was even little snow. The cold wind was biting cold. Seeing Long Shui's expression, Chen Xiang and Jiang Xing couldn't help but Hi+ver. If it was the Hel Prince he had faced before, with Elvision here, Chen Xiang and the others would be much more at ease. But now Elvision's expression was the same as well, causing him to be inwardly fearful. Senior Lu, you can even deal with the demon G. O D of Hel. What other thing would make you so nervous? Chen Xiang also felt a very depressing atmosphere, but all of this came from the slightly fearful expressions on their faces. Elvision looked in front of him, and his eyes revealed a trace of fear. He began to speak. In the infernal realm, demon masters and princes aren't considered too scary. I can even kill the demon gods of Hel. Could it be that the Hel Devil Emperor is here? Jiang Xing said. It's not Hel Devil Emperor, but a fellow imprisoned in the 10th level of Hel. His name is Arrogant Wolf God. It was a wolf, an evil beast with divine deity, and one that came from above God's realm. It committed too many crimes on top of it, was captured by a group of gods, and was imprisoned in the 10th level of Hel. Hi+ said. He had also been locked up in Hel, and from the words of his comrades, he learned a lot of things about Hel. This guy has my divine deity within his body. Why is the divine deity that I lent you back then at his place? Although Long Shui didn't know what Arrogant Wolf God was, she had a feeling towards her own divine deity. From that feeling, she knew that the monster before her was extremely terrifying. My soul may have been used to feed this fellow. Since this guy can come out from Hel, I think it was Hel Devil Emperor who brought him out. This is good too, you have the chance to get your divine deity back. Chi+, Hi+ said. What should I do? This fellow is so powerful. Long Shui scoffed. What do we do now? Hel Devil Emperor has already violated the rules severely, but there is no strong evidence. At most, he said that Arrogant Wolf God ran out on his own. Even if we were to pursue the matter, Hel El Devil Emperor will not be severely punished. Elvision clenched his fists. Chen Xiang said, I'm using the power of S.P.A.C. to leave. Just as he finished speaking, his face immediately changed greatly because he couldn't open a crack in S.P.A.C., and the S.P.A.C. wasn't strengthened by any barrier. What's going on? Chen Xiang's face turned ugly. It's useless. This arrogant wolf G.O.D. is so powerful, he doesn't need any enchantment to be able to release a domain. The S.P.A.C. within his domain cannot be opened. Elvision said. Chi said, Arrogant Wolf God has been suppressed in HELL for so many years, although his divine power isn't as terrifying as his peak state, he is still a God after all. Even if he only has 10% of his strength left, it's not something we can deal with. Chen Xiang was a little anxious. Then what are you still doing here? Elvision shook his head. Running is useless. You know me pretty well. The voice appeared behind the crowd. Chen Xiang and the rest anxiously turned their heads, only to see a big furry man standing behind them. His face had a sinister smile. This was Arrogant Wolf G.O.D. You are Chen Xiang? It's all thanks to you that I have the chance to see the light of day again. As long as I kill you, I will be completely free. The Arrogant Wolf G.O.D. laughed. Elvision's eyes flashed, a circular array appeared on his chest, and flew straight to Arrogant Wolf G.O.D. Demon G.O.D. Suppression Array. Elvision bellowed, and the divine formation suddenly grew, transforming into many, covering Arrogant Wolf G.O.D. from all directions. At this time, Jiang Xing put away his boat, otherwise it would be destroyed. Elvision's demon-suppressing formation was the strengthened version of the devil-suppressing Qi array. It was far more powerful. Seeing this, Chen Xiang and the others were secretly happy. Humph! Arrogant Wolf G.O.D. let out a cold snort. He spread open his arms and actually pushed away all of the demon G.O.D. suppressing formation that was surrounding him. Elvision's demonic suppressing power was already very strong, but this Arrogant Wolf G.O.D. was even more powerful. This guy was as strong as a G.O.D. If not, he wouldn't be called Arrogant Wolf G.O.D. You are from the Devil-Killing Summit, right? You have some ability, but you are still far from being able to deal with me. Arrogant Wolf G.O.D. sneered. He opened his mouth, only to see his mouth releasing a red light. Everyone realized that the red light was terrifying, but it was already too late. Arrogant Wolf G.O.D. spurted out a red light from his mouth. Just as he was about to attack Chen Xiang and the rest, a black wall suddenly appeared in front of them. The white tiger appeared. He used his dark power to block the Arrogant Wolf G.O.D.'s attack. Hurry up! The domain released by the Arrogant Wolf G.O.D. had already begun to loosen. Chen Xiang immediately opened a spatial tunnel and quickly left with Jiang Xing and the others. Hurry up! The domain released by the Arrogant Wolf G.O.D. had already begun to loosen. Chen Xiang immediately opened a spatial tunnel and quickly left with Jiang Xing and the others. The sudden arrival of the white tiger gave Chen Xiang and the others a very valuable opportunity to avoid a fierce battle with the Arrogant Wolf G.O.D. The place where Chen Xiang and the others appeared in was an iceland, and this place was still Cold Wind Forest. Why is he still in Cold Wind Forest? I traveled a long way. Chen Xiang looked around. I wonder how Senior White Tiger is doing. That Arrogant Wolf G.O.D. is really amazing. If Master is able to break through the domain of the Arrogant Wolf G.O.D., even if he cannot beat the Arrogant Wolf G.O.D., he can still run. But let's hurry up and enter the Divine Fire Forest. It would be safer inside. Chi said. The flames and heat emitted by the Divine Fire Forest can very well destroy the power of the domain. Even if the Arrogant Wolf G.O.D. D were to release his domain, it would not trap us to death. Elvesian nodded his head. I also want to take a look at the life forest's third barrier. Just as they were about to act, a mass of black fog appeared in front of them. The black fog turned into a white tiger. Master, what about arrogant wolf God? Seeing that the white tiger was able to catch up with them, Hi+ was overjoyed. This fellow is temporarily trapped by my power of darkness. However, that won't last for long. This arrogant wolf God is very powerful. If it weren't for the fact that I have a breakthrough in my comprehension of the laws of darkness, we would definitely not have survived today. I'm only using the power of the law of darkness to force the arrogant wolf God into a dark world. However, his strength is very strong, and he will be able to break through very soon. Elvesian said, How long does he need to come out? If we enter the divine fire forest, will it be much safer? This period of time is enough for us to enter the divine fire forest. It will be much safer for us there. At least, we won't be able to unleash the power of the devils that he obtained in Hell in the divine fire forest. The flames inside the divine fire forest are the same as your devilish suppression power. They have the effect of purifying the devils. The white tiger smiled at Elvesian. He knew that Elvesian was very strong and they had never communicated before, but they all knew each other well. Big white cat, have you seen the vermilion bird in there? I didn't expect you to be fine. Long Shui chuckled. Of course I saw her. It was she who told me to do it for you guys. She was worried about a girl called Warm Moon trying to comfort her. The white tiger looked at Chen Xiang. He knew that Dongfang Xinyue was inside Chen Xiang's ring. Jiang Xing took out his boat and said, Let's go to Divine Fire Forest quickly. It would be best if we go to a place with relatively strong flames. Originally, they were relatively close to the Divine Fire Forest, but in just 6 hours, they could see the flames in front of them rising into the sky. Those flames were all coming from the huge trees that were 300 meters tall. Dongfang Xinyue once said that the flowers, plants and trees in the Divine Fire Forest were all special. To be able to continuously burn those flames without extinguishing, Hi+ing, and the more strongly one burned those flames, the more exuberant the life force of those plants and flowers was. Old Jiang, can this boat of yours withstand the flames inside? Without any strength, every saint beast that enters will turn to dust. The white tiger said, Don't worry. This Hi+P was created by me. It's only a tiny bit away from a divine artifact. That bit of flame can't do anything about it. Jiang Xing had already sensed the powerful flames in front of him. He was an artificer and was extremely sensitive to flames. Chen Xiang asked, I wonder where the flames are the most powerful, arrogant wolf D shouldn't be too willing to go there, right? The white tiger replied, You'll have to ask the vermilion bird. She's been here for a long time, so she knows a lot about Divine Fire Forest. Jiang Xing's boat quickly entered the Divine Fire Forest. Even though there was a thick layer of SPAC black iron in between, the people in the cabin could still feel a sense of warmth. This was the heat emitted from the flames in the Divine Fire Forest. What a terrifying flame! Chen Xiang exclaimed. Even if it's a holy lord, I'm afraid you can't come in. As long as the fire resistance ability is strong, then it's fine. But if the fire resistance isn't strong enough, then even if a saint comes in, he'll still be burnt to ashes. Jiang Xing was obviously very excited. These flames are not bad. I want to stay here for a while and see if there is any way to make my fire soul have this flame's special name, so that when I deal with the evil demon in the future, I will have twice the result with half the effort. Elvesian laughed. I can pass a cultivation technique called Demon Suppressing Flame Technique. If you cooperate with your own cultivation technique with the fire soul, I think you can absorb these flames to change your own fire attribute, and thus have a stronger demonic suppressing power. Then I can't thank you enough. Jiang Xing laughed, which made him even happier. Hi said, Master, did you also condense divine deity? Why did you suddenly become so powerful? You actually stopped a guy like arrogant wolf G. Oh, you're my disciple. In the past, you were much more powerful than me, and you even possessed divine deity. If I don't have divine deity now, wouldn't my rebirth be a waste? With regards to the white tiger that had died once, felt that it was not strange that it could condense divine deity at all. Furthermore, the white tiger and the dark rule spiritual bead were able to help him condense his divine deity. Long Shui scoffed, Big Lion, my divine deity is right on that arrogant wolf G. O.D. If you kill that fellow, you can return it to me. Didn't I give you some pears? At most, I will temporarily not pursue the matter with you. However, I did not say that you would not be allowed to pay it back, so if it is possible, you still have to return the divine deity back to me. Long Shui stuck out his tongue. Chen Xiang said, if arrogant wolf God also enters the divine fire forest, if we join hands, would it be easier to kill him? White Tiger frowned. He thought for a while and said, it will be easier, but that does not mean that we have complete confidence, and that we might even be injured. That guy is truly powerful, he should be AG. Oh. But his strength has been weakened. Since he was once AG. Oh, just his divine body is not something that we can easily touch. Elvision nodded his head. The divine body is very powerful, even if he had a divine weapon, it would not be that easy. He would also need a considerable amount of strength to work with the divine weapon to break through the defense of his divine body. Jiang Xing asked, where is the vermilion bird? If you add her to the mix, this is not something that I can persuade. After I found her, I was beaten up and scolded by her. While my anger has greatly lessened, it does not mean that I can persuade her to do something so dangerous. The white tiger shook its head. Let me say it, I have a way. Long Shui was very confident. Isn't it easy to deal with her? After getting rid of the arrogant wolf God, Long Shui would be able to recover her divine deity. Adding her supreme dragon blood, she would be able to cultivate a divine dragon body in the future, and would be a true divine dragon. At that time, she would be even more powerful, able to fight against gods of arrogant wolf god's level by herself. The flames released by the trees, flowers, and plants here were of the same degree and were extremely mystical. As the third barrier of the life forest, not only was the divine fire forest filled with the power of fire, there were also many hidden dangers inside. Let's go out together. It's not good to stay in this S.H.I+P, it's too restrictive. Especially in this divine fire forest, we cannot immediately sense anything approaching us. The white tiger said. Let's go out together. It's not good to stay in this S.H.I+P, it's too restrictive. Especially in this divine fire forest, we cannot immediately sense anything approaching us. The white tiger said. The group left the living room of the S.H.I+P and entered the blazing forest. The flames here are really powerful. Chen Xiang came to the side of a small flower as the flower heart burned with an intense flame. He stabbed his finger deep into the flower heart, and actually felt a slight burning pain. He had always been a fire expert, and his physical body was also extremely powerful. Even a small flower was enough to burn him to a crisp, causing him to sigh in amazement. As long as I strip it off, it won't burn. Chen Xiang pulled out that small flower and carefully observed it. He discovered that this small flower contained a special energy. As long as it fused with another flower's energy, it would ignite into flames. Life forest is indeed not simple. Jiang Xing also carefully observed the plants that were burning in flames. The first barrier was the purple leaf forest, and the purple-colored plants were also very special. The cold energy in the cold wind forest was able to give birth to a large number of strong poisonous beasts that possessed the profound frost evil emperor, and this divine fire forest was even more special. Just the flames released by any one of these little flowers or SES was enough to burn a immortal becoming realm ranker to death. The mischievous spirit has appeared. You guys be careful. Although this thing isn't strong, it's very troublesome. If you don't pay attention, you might even get injured. The white tiger frowned. Chen Xiang and the others did not realize, but after the white tiger gave the order, they looked around. On the branches of the trees there were things about the size of human beings, their bodies burning with flames, almost like human beings. What is this? We didn't discover anything, Chen Xiang said. Fire demons. Because they are born from the flames here, their auras are one with the environment here. It's definitely not easy to discover them. The white tiger said, "Don't bother with them. Let's leave quickly. This should be their territory." Chen Xiang and the rest followed closely behind, but before they could take more than a few steps, the fire demons had already pounced down from the trees, covering the sky with their attacks. Chen Xiang punched in the air, releasing a rippling force that brought along a burst of gales, with which one punch scattered dozens of fire demons. However, his attacks didn't have much of an effect. The scattered flames quickly regrouped, especially those that fell to the ground. After transforming from a new fire demon, they continued to charge towards them. "So hot!" Jiang Xing shouted. He took out a jasper gourd, which produced a strong suction force that instantly sucked the dozen or so fire demons that were flying over. Seeing this, Chen Xiang anxiously took out the demon God's suppressing pag. And stored the fire demons inside. Jiang Xing had the most magic treasures, and in order to quickly deal with these fire demons, he took out the divine furnace to collect more fire demons. However, the number of fire demons decreased by a lot in an instant. "Alright, now we can leave quickly," the white tiger said. "We just need to pay attention to one thing and not enter the territory of some powerful individuals. We won't encounter any battles." The white tiger was more familiar with the divine fire forest. Ever since he met the fire demons, he became more cautious, avoiding the powerful fire beasts and rust. Ing straight towards the vermilion bird's territory. The vermilion bird's territory was a very large short mountain. She lived in the belly of the mountain, and this mountain was filled with small trees, all of them burning with fire. There was no such fire in the cave, but there was still an uncomfortable heat. After arriving here, Chen Xiang released Dongfang Xinyue. The reborn vermilion bird was very strong, it might even have divine deity. After arriving here, everyone felt much more relaxed, even if the arrogant wolf G.O.D. appeared again, they would no longer be afraid. Inside the mountain was a small palace, and inside it was the vermilion bird itself. She was already sitting in the hall waiting for Chen Xiang. The vermilion bird was a bold woman, Chen Xiang had known this before. However, he didn't think that the vermilion bird would actually look like a cute, round-faced woman, and it even looked a little soft. "It's good that you didn't die." The vermilion bird laughed lightly. She anxiously walked over and looked at Dongfang Xinyue, worried that he was injured. Then she frowned and looked at him. The vermilion bird was wearing a red skirt, its face was round and sweet and beautiful, and it didn't look as spicy as Long Shui had said. At least, she gave Chen Xiang a good first impression of it. "You are the one who overturned Endless Heaven Realm and Endless Heaven Realm, Chen Xiang." The vermilion bird circled around Chen Xiang once, then laughed sweetly. "You're out of the blue and you're out of the blue. You're even better than Chi Hi+. Long Shui laughed complacently. "That's for sure, go and see who is guiding him from behind. Little fire bird, we haven't seen each other for so many years, you seem to have gotten fatter." The vermilion bird patted Long Shui's towering chest and said, "Same here." Jiang Xing chuckled. "Lord Vermilion Bird, I am only halfway through the task you entrusted to me, please forgive me. Don't worry, my old bones can be refined into Suzakubao for Warm Moon and the others. However, you are too useless. You did not die, and even after living for so long you are still that weak. The vermilion bird curled its lips. Don't be afraid of me, I won't pursue the matter of the Suzaku silk. Jiang Xing laughed heartily. About this? I never thought that after you, vermilion bird, were reborn, your temper would become better and your strength would become stronger. I was originally just a piece of trash, and after thinking about it for so many years, I still don't know how to cultivate divine deity. Long Shui, White Tiger and Vermilion Bird all wanted to obtain divine deity. If Chi S.H.I. Plus didn't die back then, he would have one now. That's because you're useless. Senior Lu is also a human, and you can cultivate divine deity? Long Shui laughed. Elvision laughed and said, I think we should first discuss how to deal with the arrogant wolf God. This guy will most likely come chasing us. The Vermilion Bird frowned. You guys want to deal with someone like the arrogant wolf God? Do you want to join hands and get rid of him here? Long Shui nodded. It's really so. If you had joined, then we would have definitely taken him down. This guy has my divine deity on him. Don't expect me to make a move, arrogant wolf God is not easy to deal with. The Vermilion Bird replied, although I have always been here, I am more familiar with the matters of the infernal realm and the Gods realm. Why? The flames here can weaken his strength. Long Shui said. The Vermilion Bird's temper had improved by a lot. This was beyond her expectations, but she still did not agree. The Vermilion Bird said, It's not that I don't want to help you get your divine deity back, it's that arrogant wolf God isn't an ordinary guy who has been suppressed. Someone who has caused so much trouble in the Gods realm like him should have his divine deity removed, then his body destroyed, and his soul suppressed. But he hasn't, his physical body and soul are all here. Right now, he is only supporting a body that isn't in a good condition to deal with you. He isn't being suppressed in H.E.L. and with his terrifying recovery speed, it won't be long before he recovers a lot of strength. The flames here can't do anything to him. Elvision took a light breath. That's right, arrogant wolf God's evil reputation is very famous in the Gods realm. Logically speaking, he should be severely punished, but from the looks of it, he shouldn't be a big deal. But releasing arrogant wolf God now is equivalent to releasing him in disguised form. The situation in the infernal realm is very complicated, so H.E.L. Devil Emperor can do whatever he wants. With one arrogant wolf God, there will be two of them. With our current strength, even if we add all of them together, we won't be able to withstand it for long. The Vermilion Bird sighed. If we want to kill him, it will be even more difficult to reclaim his divine deity. Dongfang Xinhua asked in a low voice, Then will arrogant wolf God be here soon? Ancestor Suzaku, didn't your position here already become exposed? Don't worry, I've been here for so many years. I've wanted to walk around for a long time, it doesn't matter if I'm exposed. The Vermilion Bird smiled faintly at Dongfang Xinhua. She was very good to Dongfang Xinhua. So you're saying, we should now think of a way to get rid of the arrogant wolf God? Jiang Xing said, I originally planned to cultivate here. The White Tiger and Vermilion Bird looked at each other and nodded. The only good thing about the Divine Fire Forest is that it can prevent his domain from being released. He cannot use his powerful strength to seal it off, so even if we meet him, we can still run away. The Vermilion Bird said. After Chen Xiang thought about it carefully, he sighed, Arrogant wolf God's goal is me, so all of you don't have to follow me and take the risk. How can that be? You have also seen the arrogant wolf God. That guy is scary. Chi S.H.I. Plus said, If you face it yourself, it will definitely be even more dangerous. The vermilion bird said, Arrogant Wolf God definitely has a backer as long as he completes the deal with H.E.L. Devil Emperor and kills you. H.E.L. Devil Emperor will definitely help him return to God's realm, and in order for God's realm to help him get rid of his crimes, he will also secretly give him a certain amount of support. What you are facing right now is not only Arrogant Wolf God, but the power behind Arrogant Wolf God as well. Qin Xiang said, I want to enter the depths of Life Forest, the dark area behind the third barrier, but I will stay at the edge for a while. When Arrogant Wolf God finds me, I will bring him in. No way, this is too dangerous. That area is terrifying. The vermilion bird hurriedly said, Warm Moon is connected to you by life. Just undo the master-servant contract. Qin Xiang said, I want to go in and take a look. If I can't get out, there's no need to worry, as long as I have sufficient strength and use the power of SPAC, well, I can still get out later. Qin Xiang felt that if he was unable to deal with Arrogant Wolf God, there would still be a chaos fire in the end. The dark region was extremely dangerous, only the vermilion bird had ever entered here, so she was the most against Qin Xiang entering. The dark region was extremely dangerous, only the vermilion bird had ever entered here, so she was the most against Qin Xiang entering. I'll go with you. I believe you'll be fine. Dongfang Xinyue clenched her teeth. She really wanted to go with Qin Xiang. She felt that this would give him some mental support. The vermilion bird sighed, All right, you must bring the warm moon back. I hope that when you come out, you will have the strength to shake off the Arrogant Wolf God, and we will work harder to see if we can increase our strength quickly. At that time, we might be able to help you a little. Then I will leave now. If I stay here for too long, it will bring you trouble. Qin Xiang would be located by the H.E.L. Devil Emperor at any time. As long as he stayed in one place for too long, a large group of experts would catch up to him very quickly. Long Shui and Dongfang Xinyue entered the ring. After Qin Xiang and Qi Hi plus bid farewell to him, they left the vermilion bird's cave and went outside into the world of flames. Although the fire beasts in the divine fire forest were strong, they were not as terrifying as the ones in the Arrogant Wolf God. Found it easier to deal with the domain that could seal off his surroundings. In order to not stray from the direction, he ran for a distance and traveled through SPAC. This way, he would be able to travel far away from the vermilion bird at an extremely fast speed, and he had stayed at the vermilion bird's location for too long. If the Arrogant Wolf God wanted to catch up, the distance between them might be very close. Time is really too tight. Who would have known that a Arrogant Wolf God would suddenly appeared? If not, we could get him to use his SPAC black iron to refine ASHI plus P that can cut off SPAC. We could have avoided the tracing mantra of the H.E.L. Devil Emperor. Long Shui was a little helpless as he sighed. Dongfang Xinyue laughed. Sister Shui, are you underestimating me? I can refine here too, it's just that I'm not as proficient and fast as Senior Jiang. Qin Xiang said, Warm Moon, will that type of SHI plus P really be able to get rid of the tracing mantra and just hide inside? It should be possible, if it is all made by SPAC black iron, adding a few spatial array spirit grain it can make the boat inside SPAC for reading. It is not connected to Endless Heaven Realm and Nine Heaven World, but it can move between Endless Heaven Realm and Nine Heaven World, and maybe the tracing mantra can know where you are inside the boat, but it doesn't know where your boat is. Dongfang Xinyue said, To get the SPAC black iron, you need to refine it out of so many stones. This is a huge project. If it is the old Jiang, He would use the flames here to refine it quickly. But right now, you are the only one who is refining the S.P.A.C. black iron in the ring. Long Shui muttered, seems like I have to help too, refine the S.P.A.C. black iron out. Chen Xiang suddenly stopped and said, how about I call Xian Xian and the others over? I can open a spatial tunnel and send a sound transmission to them, telling them to come over by themselves, that way I won't have to go back. He did not return to the Nine Heaven World because he did not want to lead this trouble to the Nine Heaven World, where a stable development was needed right now. Then let's hurry, they should be inside the Hundreds of Flowers Palace. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang first opened up a small spatial passageway, allowing his own divine power to entering the Hundreds of Flowers Palace. Who is it? Not long after, Chen Xiang felt his divine power being almost shattered by a voice. This was LV Qilian's divine power, yet it had actually become so strong, which surprised him greatly. Sister Qilian, didn't your father say that you were in closed-door cultivation? Chen Xiang anxiously replied, to prevent himself from being shaken by LV Qilian. I am currently in closed-door training, but I have to constantly pay attention to the situation outside. I heard that El Devil Emperor is using his divine deity to place a bounty on you. LV Qilian suddenly asked a bunch of questions. It's a long story, El Devil Emperor has already offered 3 divine deity rewards to me, and for Life Forest who is in Sacred Water Heavenly Realm, I met your father here, and it was all thanks to his sudden appearance that I was able to escape this calamity. Menger and Xian Xian are with you, I need them to come over and help me. Chen Xiang said anxiously, there's also Yulan, Jinger Lingling. Are they in Hundreds of Flowers Palace? Menger, Xian Xian, Jinger and Yulan are all here. Hui Shan brought Lingling back to the Ice Dragon clan. LV Qilian could tell from Chen Xiang's tone that he was extremely anxious, so he did not say much. I'll get little Lizzie to find them, how are you doing now, and whether or not you need my help, I can immediately come out and help you. Chen Xiang had not been in contact with LV Qilian for a period of time, and the situation on Chen Xiang's side was not looking good. LV Qilian had always been worried in her heart, but she realized that her feelings for Chen Xiang had sunk deeper and deeper, and it was difficult for her to break away from them. After all, she had once trained with Chen Xiang on the GODS join method for a period of time. No need for now, use the divine deity that Senior Lu gave you properly. I'm doing fine here, Chen Xiang said. Let little Lizzie take them to a quiet and S.P.A.C.'s place, I'll bring them over. Alright, I heard that Xiang Yu and Qianqian found traces of Dan Emperor. In order to learn more profound alchemy, they got up and went to search for Dan Emperor, they aren't here. LV Qilian said. Yes. Chen Xiang had already seen Lu Menger and the other girls bringing little Lizzie to a deserted place in the Forbidden Grounds. He immediately increased the power of S.P.A.C. and opened a slightly larger S.P.A.C. gate. I have a very strong flame on my side. Be careful when you come over, it might be a little hotter. Lu Menger and the others heard Chen Xiang's voice coming from the spatial gate and nodded, then stepped into the spatial gate. Very quickly, Chen Xiang saw a few beautiful female figures appear in the blazing world. Seeing these beautiful women, he felt extremely happy in his heart. What is this place? It's so hot. Ling Yulan shouted, her face full of smiles, because Chen Xiang had finally brought her out for an adventure. I won't say much. I'm being hunted down right now. You should know that to a safe place first. As Chen Xiang said this, he brought the few girls into the ring, allowing Long Shui and Dongfang Xinyue to properly tell them about his experiences during this period of time. Chen Xiang, do you need any more helpers? Little Lizzie asked Chen Xiang through the dimensional door. She knew that Chen Xiang had introduced many strong female rankers, and she even had a kind of indescribable emotion towards Chen Xiang. Even she herself had some unspeakable feelings for Chen Xiang. No need for now. If you need me, I'll look for you guys again. Chen Xiang replied. Then be careful. Little Lizzie already knew about the Hel Devil Emperor's bounty on Chen Xiang, and this matter had long spread like wildfire. Chen Xiang closed his spatial door and rushed towards the darkness. If not for the fact that he was worried about the arrogant wolf G.O.D. chasing him, he would have had a good chat with the girls. Shui, was the vermilion bird divine art taught to me by you? Back then, when Chen Xiang was in danger, a mysterious woman said down her powers to her. It's not me. Long Shui laughed heartily. It's the other big sister. She knew about Little Scoundrel before me. It was them who brought Little Scoundrel onto the street. Them. Shui Xianxian slightly furrowed his brows. Yes, they are very powerful, but they are injured. It's a long story, I'll tell it slowly. Long Shui said. Now, there was no need to hide the matter between Su Meiyao and himself. After hearing everything, Leng Yulan and the other girls sighed endlessly, because Long Shui, Su Meiyao and his wife had all accompanied him through so many things, and had witnessed all kinds of things that had happened between them and Chen Xiang. Shui Xianxian and Lu Menger's faces were a little red because they were already Chen Xiang's people. Especially Lu Menger, who would often get fully teased by Chen Xiang, and there were 3 other women watching from the sidelines. I never thought that Bai Yu and Su Meiyao, who have been missing for so many years, would always be together with Little Scoundrel. If they could recover their strength, they would definitely be very strong, right? Shui Xianxian sighed with emotion. They helped Little Scoundrel so much. Fortunately, Little Scoundrel didn't disappoint them. Leng Yulan laughed. I really want to see them. They have witnessed the way I know them, and they have definitely helped me a lot. I need to thank them properly. I heard that Bai Yu is difficult to fight, and it's a woman with a heavy killing heart. I want to fight with her. Yulan, I promise you that you won't be disappointed when the time comes. Although elder sister Yu is usually cold, she is very aggressive. Long Shui laughed as he stroked her long hair. You still look so domineering when you're white-haired, but this is also good, you look more like a woman. Dongfang Jing said, Sisters, shouldn't we start refining black iron and help brother refine a boat? That way we can be together with brother. I can't even see him right now. Dongfang Xinhua patted Dongfang Xinyue's head and laughed. Jing, did you learn a lot of skills from Menger and the rest? Your hands are itchy, and you want to try your hand at them, right? When Kong Bailing and Pearl finally finished cultivating, they saw that there were still 2 women left. Both Shui Xianxian and Lu Menger harumphed in their hearts. Under Long Shui's introductions, they quickly found out how powerful Kong Bailing and Pearl were. Especially Leng Yulan, who clamored to taste a Pearl's tears. If Scorpion Sis was here, she would definitely be very happy. She really likes this kind of strange poison. Shui Xianxian looked at the beautiful white feathers on Kong Bailing's head and laughed. That Scorpion Sis. Didn't she have a long braid that hung down her chest? There was a hook at the end of the braid. Her eyes were purple, and she looked extremely cold. Long Shui asked. Leng Yulan and Shui Xianxian shook their heads. We only know that her name is Z Scorpion. Usually, she covers her face and leads the way by covering it. She's so scary that I don't even dare to fight with her. However, she is very polite to us. Leng Yulan said. She is Bai Yu's older sister, Devil Scorpion Princess Bai Ziqian. You all should know her, right? Long Shui laughed. This Devil Scorpion Princess and Little Scoundrel's relations, that H.I. plus P isn't bad, of course she's polite to you guys. Little Scoundrel helped her a few times, and gave her some super old poison S. She is Bai Yu's older sister, Devil Scorpion Princess Bai Ziqian. You all should know her, right? Long Shui laughed. This Devil Scorpion Princess and Little Scoundrel's relations. H.I. plus P isn't bad, of course she's polite to you guys. Little Scoundrel helped her a few times, and gave her some super old poison. No wonder she joined the Hundreds of Flowers Palace. Turns out it was all because of Little Scoundrel. Shui Xianxian scoffed. It seems like the majority of the women who have good relations with the Little Scoundrel are now the four sisters Zilan, Yao Shumi, her mother, and Yu Xuelian, the Lotus Goblin. And little sister Mu Qianxiang is also Boss Hua's disciple. Long Shui chuckled. Big sister Little Fairy, then in the future, you should be mentally prepared. This Little Scoundrel's hands will stretch out really long. Lu Menger scoffed softly. Also, the Little Scoundrel has saved Shui Ying before, and she has always kept him on her lips. Ling Yulan laughed out loud. Big Bro is so awesome, I have everything. In the future, there will be more beautiful big sisters fighting with me. Just as Ling Yulan finished speaking, he was pinched on his face by Xianxian as he rolled his eyes at her, causing all the girls present to laugh. Come, come, come. Let's eat something good before we start our work. This is holy snow pear, a very tasty and sweet sacred fruit. Long Shui very generously took out these holy fruits, and then took out a set of tools, and began to make these golden jade fishes. Other than that, there were also some extremely delicious, sweet, and high-grade immortal fruits that squeezed out the juice. It's such a pity that little sister Qianxiang isn't here. These things are way too extravagant. Ling Yulan's eyes shone as he looked at the precious holy fruit and immortal fruits on the stone table. No wonder you were able to stay in this place for so long. It's so delicious. Shui Xianxian took a light bite of the holy snow pear. Lu Menger and Dongfang Jing also savored the taste, with Ling Yulan being the only big and tall one, finest. Hi plusing 1 and 2 or 3 bites. Dongfang Xinyue, Pearl, and Kong Bailing had been here for a few days already, so they had already tasted it. Jing Jing, this is the inheritance fruit from the vermilion bird ancestor. Eat it now and cultivate well here. Only by obtaining the vermilion bird ancestor's inheritance will you become stronger, and only then will you be able to help your brother. Dongfang Xinyue gave Dongfang Jing a fiery red fruit. Dongfang Jing nodded, and she listened to Dongfang Xinyue's words very carefully. Aunt, it's been hard on you, I'll definitely make good use of it. Jing, hurry up and become stronger. This way, I won't always win against you in fights in the future. Ling Yulan laughed. In the future, we can go and kill the night devil together. After Dongfang Jing ate it, he entered a secret room and went into closed-door cultivation. There were instructions for him on what to do next. Chen Xiang gave some blood pills to the girls, but they did not eat them now, as they still had urgent matters to attend to. There are no crafting furnaces here, so it shouldn't be a problem for you. Long Shui asked. The effect isn't too big. We are mainly cultivating the divine path. Although we don't have a soul yet, we can already use our soul consciousness and our saint force to forge artifacts in the void. It shouldn't be a problem for us to work together. Lu Menger said. Lu Menger and Shui Xianxian had already turned into saints. Although they were only at the divine immortal level, their foundation was very stable, and they had very high attainments in artifact forging. Long Shui said, How about this? I will use my divine power to create a cauldron for you guys. When the time comes I will cooperate with you. This will save you some energy. You guys don't have a soul, this isn't good. Once I've done this, I'll have the little scoundrel think of a way to get a soul for each of you. Long Shui said. I don't need it. Ling Yulan laughed. It existed when my white dragon vein awakened. I don't need it. I obtained it through the vermilion bird legacy fruit. Dongfang Xinyue said. Chen Xiang didn't hear the conversation of the few women inside. He was currently approaching the dark area continuously. He was only approaching it first, and wouldn't enter it for the time being unless he was forced to. Now that he had brought a few of his beloved women with him, he didn't want to risk his life with them. Thus, he had to be even more careful. As Chen Xiang traveled, he suddenly felt a very weak change in the temperature of his surroundings. This was because his divine deity was a little special, so he was very sensitive to everything around him. There is an aura that is different from the aura of the divine fire forest's flames. Although it seems to be close, and it means that something is approaching, Shui, help me look at what is approaching. It seems to be a fire beast, but its aura shouldn't be like this, Chen Xiang said. Hearing Chen Xiang's voice, other than Long Shui, Dongfang Xinyue and the others, Shui Xianxian, who just entered the Yuyao ring, became anxious. They knew that Chen Xiang's situation was similar to what it had been for many years, but they had never experienced it with Chen Xiang personally, so they could not help but be anxious. However, this helped them understand more about how difficult it was for Chen Xiang to be outside, and it was not like they imagined it would happen. Long Shui's detection abilities were a little stronger than Chen Xiang's, but because she was in the serene jade ring, her senses were not as sharp as Chen Xiang's. The aura of this flame is very special, and it has a hint of the odor of Hell. It's just like the arrogant wolf God, but it's not the kind of extremely evil power that the arrogant wolf God possesses. Long Shui frowned. Could it be the Hell suppressing guardians of the infernal realm? I heard that the flames these things emit are extremely harmful to the demons of the infernal realm. Chen Xiang immediately increased his speed, raising it to the limit. He was also traveling through SPAC a lot of distance, and the guy chasing him now also came from Hell. He looked to be about as strong as the arrogant wolf God. These prison guards aren't real GODs, but their strengths are very strong. They should be specially used in the infernal realm to deal with some of the weaker little devils, but if they can obtain divine deity, then they can become real GODs. Therefore, divine deity is a great temptation for them. Long Shui said. In this divine fire forest, the power that the Hell suppressing guardians unleashed was far stronger than that of the arrogant wolf God. In order to kill him, the Hell Devil Emperor had spent a lot of effort and used all kinds of power from Hell to give him this treatment. In the 10 days ago, Great Yen Jing did not have this kind of treatment. Could it be that she's about to force her way into the darkness? I don't know what's inside, but the vermilion bird didn't remind me. Could it be that even she didn't truly enter into the darkness? Chen Xiang looked ahead. Although he did not see the dark area, he felt that they were approaching. The Hell suppressing guardians was not an evil demon who cultivated evil powers, and he himself also knew how to use the powerful prison God's flame. Even if he wasn't as powerful as the arrogant wolf God, he still wouldn't be able to deal with it easily. The Hell suppressing guardians was not an evil demon who cultivated evil powers, and he himself also knew how to use the powerful prison God's flame. Even if he wasn't as powerful as the arrogant wolf God, he still wouldn't be able to deal with it easily. What I can rely on is spatial energy. In order to shorten the distance between Chen Xiang and the Hell suppressing guardians, he had no choice but to enter the tyrannical SPAC first, and then travel through it to increase the distance between him and the Hell suppressing guardians. Can't I hide in the tyrannical SPAC? Shui Xianxian asked. It can be done, but you can't stay for too long because the situation inside is very complicated. At all times, you have to maintain the highest state of vigilance, or else if you aren't careful you will encounter big trouble. It would be very tiring. Chen Xiang said, Don't worry about me, I still have other methods to avoid encountering that guy. At this time, Chen Xiang braced himself and continued to move closer to the dark region. 2 days later, he saw a black floating wall in front of him, and from afar, it looked like a belt of black fog that went straight to the top, enveloping the mysterious dark region inside. We're here, the dark area is inside. It's not simple. Looking at it from here, you can feel a very stifling power. Chen Xiang frowned. There is still a very strong sealing power for S.P.A.C. It seems that entering it will not be that easy. Don't go in for the time being. Let's see what can be done to deal with the H.E.L. suppressing guardians outside. I am also a little afraid of the dark area right now. It really is scary. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang did not continue moving forward. He felt that if he took another step forward, it would make his heart feel very uncomfortable, so that kind of strange feeling was hard to describe. H.E.L. suppressing guardians uses flames. If you think of a way to suppress his flames, it might be a lot easier, Long Shui said. Chen Xiang looked at his surroundings and sighed. All around us are these strange flames. If the H.E.L. suppressing guardians was able to control these flames, then it would be even more powerful. Even if not, this environment is very advantageous for him. How many D-eclipse powder are there? Long Shui said. Use the D-eclipse powder, magical corruption gas and drunk D magical poison. Use all of the strange poison. I don't believe that I can't beat this guy. Chen Xiang clenched his teeth and said, All right, I will use up all of my stock and see if there are any effects. The only thing was that he was currently using them against AHEL suppressing guardians from HELL. These HEL suppressing guardians were all experts who had cultivated in the GODS realm before. Although they did not have divine deity, their strength was not to be underestimated. The HEL suppressing guardians had not come yet, so Chen Xiang decided to refine all of them together. If he were to flee all over the place, the HEL suppressing guardians would not be able to catch up with him, but there was no other way. Right now there was only one HEL suppressing guardians chasing him. Taking advantage of the fact that there was only one HEL suppressing guardians left, and during an easier time, he would try his best to kill it and obtain its powerful soul. What he needed to do now was to continuously strengthen his own soul, let him possess Emperor Soul, and then strengthen his own body so that he could become a true strong of Lord stage. At that time, relying on those divine tools would not mean he had to be afraid of the strong warriors that HEL Devil Emperor had sent from HELL. You're not running anymore? Were you waiting for me? A big tree suddenly cracked open, and a middle-aged man in a red robe walked out. His entire body was burning with flames, and he was holding two huge blades in his hands. Chen Xiang never thought that the HEL suppressing guardians would arrive so quickly. Fortunately, he was very fast in refining the strange poison. He had already refined many different kinds of poison together, but the D-eclipse powder were different, because when the two were mixed together, the strange poison would be corroded by the D-eclipse powder. You came pretty fast. Chen Xiang was calm and composed. He smiled at HEL suppressing guardians. From the looks of it, you don't seem like someone who would work for HEL Devil Emperor at all. Flames gushed out of HEL suppressing guardians' eyes, and he said coldly, That's right, but I need divine deity. I killed you and obtained the divine deity. This is a very fair deal. I didn't work hard for him. How much am I worth now? Seeing that the other party had walked in step by step, Chen Xiang also slowly backed off. HEL suppressing guardians' two giant blade with a burning red ghost head was simply too frightening and gave Chen Xiang a lot of psychological pressure. 4. HEL suppressing guardians roared. He slashed with his two blades, and two pillars of flame shot out, transforming into two demons bearing their fangs and brandis. Plussing their claws, they pounced towards Chen Xiang. It had actually risen to 4 divine deities. Even Chun Xiang himself wanted to hand him over for those 4 divine deity. This was just too enticing, it was simply too hard to resist, and right now, he also felt a headache. If he did not have absolute strength, he would become the target of many strong enemies from now on. Don't think that the 4 divine deities are so good. Chun Xiang stomped his feet, and a flame Tai Chi diagram array appeared on the ground. The green dragon demon-slain broadsword appeared in his hands, and the Tai Chi diagram array that was thrown into the ground started spinning furiously as the Tai Chi diagram array spun. The 2 powerful flames that H.E.L. suppressing guardians had released were instantly cut apart. When H.E.L. suppressing guardians saw the Taiji diagram, he hastily jumped out, otherwise his entire body would have been twisted into knife scars. "You're so amazing, there's no need for you to hide." Chun Xiang sneered. He suddenly disappeared along with the primal chaos divine saber formation and then reappeared next to the H.E.L. suppressing guardians, allowing his own blade formation to envelop the H.E.L. suppressing guardians. The blade formation frantically rotated, and countless green dragon demon-slain broadsword like numerous green dragons, began to revolve wildly around Chun Xiang, like a tornado. And the things that were swept in were all shattered into pieces. "Break!" The H.E.L. suppressing guardians roared. A burst of blood-red flames burst out of his body, shaking out a burst of scorching chi wave, engulfing everything in its path, and annihilating a large amount of giant trees that were burning with flames. Chun Xiang's primal chaos divine saber formation had also been scattered. His entire body was blown away by that wave of energy, and both his body and soul felt a scorching pain. So this is the H.E.L. Lolding G. Ode fire. You are no different from a demon from H.E.L. H.E.L. suppressing guardians held a thick black iron chain, on it burned a blood-red blaze. He swung the iron chain, fiercely lost. H.I. +ing at Chun Xiang, and in an instant it had struck Chun Xiang's body. The speed was extremely fast, it was as though the S.P.A.C. was shortened. Boom! Chun Xiang's chest was hit by the iron chain, producing a huge explosion. A huge crater was formed on the ground, and the flames were like giant wolves as they surged, engulfing the entire forest. How could an ordinary body like yours be able to withstand the power of the prison? To be able to enjoy it before death is already quite good. This is something that only the famous fiends of the infernal realm can experience. Seeing Chun Xiang being sent flying and vomiting blood on the ground, H.E.L. suppressing guardians felt that his victory was within his grasp and laughed complacently. Boom! 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 H.E.L. suppressing guardians frantically whipped Chun Xiang, sending Chun Xiang flying time and time again. He just stood there and did not move his body. Chun Xiang was slapped too far away. He had once again used the iron chains to wrap around him, and continued to hit him. "Let me break your hand first." The H.E.L. suppressing guardians was very skilled, laughing evilly while increasing his strength, aiming at Chun Xiang's arm. He aimed at it and ruthlessly lashed out with the iron chain, lost. H.I. +ing at Chun Xiang's arm, causing it to bend at will. It looked to be extremely painful. Chun Xiang clenched his teeth, endured the pain, and did not shout out, "Over here!" Ha ha! H.E.L. suppressing guardians was currently very excited, because he had already tightly suppressed Chun Xiang and had no power to resist him. Previously, he had guessed that Chun Xiang was very weak, otherwise, he would not have kept on running. Chun Xiang's other arm was immediately broken after it was hit, and fresh blood dripped out. Even though it was a very strdy metal bone, it had completely shattered. Then the legs. H.E.L. suppressing guardians continued to swing the fiery red chain that was as thick as his thigh. Although it looked huge and heavy, it was extremely nimble in his hands. Boom! Boom! Chen Xiang's legs had already been cut off, but he continued to grit his teeth, kept quiet, and endured the enormous pain. Prepare to return to the infernal realm. I wonder if I can bring the living back with me. Would I be able to get a better reward? Suppressing Guardians was very happy and walked to Chen Xiang's side. At this time, Chen Xiang's 4 limbs had already been ripped apart, all of his bones were smashed into pieces, his flesh was mangled and his abdomen was split open with a large hole, the broken ribs had popped out, and it was obvious that it was a golden bone. Suppressing Guardians lifted Chen Xiang up, fiercely punched his face a few times, and said with disdain, "Isn't it just a little stinky brat, actually worth 4 divine deity? Devil Emperor is making a big fuss out of nothing. But this is just right for me. 4 divine deity pellets, haha. Pft." Chen Xiang aimed at suppressing Guardians' open mouth and fiercely spat out a large mouthful of blood, which was spat into suppressing Guardians' mouth. "You're courting death." The suppressing Guardians was enraged and sent Chen Xiang flying with a slap. Chen Xiang laid on the ground like a pile of mud. However, he was laughing crazily like a madman. Ha 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 ha! Chen Xiang's body was in great pain, and when he laughed, he even cried out in pain, which sounded extremely strange. "What are you laughing about? You're about to die." Just as suppressing Guardians brandished the iron chain in his hand, his expression suddenly changed. He discovered that his energy was rapidly draining away. "Those who are still in danger of death, who do you still not know?" Chen Xiang endured his pain and laughed. "The blood I spat out just now tasted good, right?" Suppressing Guardians' face paled. "Poisonous. It's the super old poison." Suppressing Guardians suddenly felt his body turning soft and cold. 2 other powers were flowing in his blood. Suppressing Guardians suddenly felt his body turning soft and cold. 2 other powers were flowing in his blood. This suppressing Guardians was just too powerful. After he found out about the poison, he immediately used his powerful strength to suppress the super old poison. Just how many types of super old poison are there? Suppressing Guardians' expression turned uglier and uglier. He could feel that there were several types of poison, and they were very powerful, all at the super old poison's level. Not many, just 5. Chen Xiang laughed out loud. "What, you're scared? Aren't you invincible? I want to see how you can get rid of these 5 super old poison, how you can enjoy yourself enjoying so many super old poisons before you die. I'm afraid you're the first person in history. Your luck is good." Chen Xiang had previously hidden those gentle super old poison inside his body, and spat out a poisonous pill while spitting out blood. Suppressing Guardians was anxious and angry, he bellowed, he did not dare to shout, afraid of triggering the poison. "Don't be happy too early, to tell you the truth, we came in a small team, we have a total of 4 people, and I still have 3 other companions on the way. Although the super old poison are powerful, I can still hold on, and as long as my companions send me back to I will have a way to expel the poison." The suppressing Guardians sat on the ground and closed his eyes to suppress the super old poison. Chen Xiang laughed coldly. "You had intended to keep the 4 divine deity pellets for yourself just now, but now you call them your companions. You didn't think of all these companions just now. You're so heavily injured right now, you should just lie there and wait for death." Suppressing Guardians opened his eyes and glared at Chen Xiang. At this moment, His entire body was covered in sweat, because those super-old poison S were truly too strong. Chen Xiang also felt that it was unbelievable, that magical corruption gas, drunk God magical poison, blood orchid mantra and old man goo were mixed together, and the quant. 1. Tai was so large, but this L suppressing guardians could actually endure it. There are still 3 L suppressing guardians S coming. It looks like I have to enter the dark area now. Chen Xiang had already sensed the auras of the other 3 L suppressing guardians S. My comrade is here. You will die today. The L suppressing guardians heaved a sigh of relief. Right now, he did not dare to use his powers carelessly. After saying that, L suppressing guardians suddenly felt his body moving. What are you doing? L suppressing guardians looked around and realized that the land he and Chen Xiang were on was actually moving swiftly towards the dark area ahead. Of course it's to go inside. I heard that it's very scary inside. In any case, you and I are about to die, so why don't we just die inside? Chen Xiang laughed. Although he was lying there and did not move, his soul was not harmed at all, and his God powers were vast, allowing him to use spatial powers and perform spatial techniques similar to the earth shrinking art to move to the other side. Bastard, stop it. Do you really not know how scary it is inside? At this moment, he was getting closer and closer to the dark region. He could clearly see the black aura floating outside the darkness region, and as long as he said through the huge black belt, he would enter the darkness region. I truly do not know. No matter how frightening it is inside, since I am going to die, I might as well drag you down with me. Chen Xiang laughed very easily. You. It was unknown whether L suppressing guardians was so angry that he could not speak, or was scared speechless. In the blink of an eye, Chen Xiang and L suppressing guardians were wearing a black belt. It was pitch black inside. But the darkness did not last long before they saw some light, and then they felt themselves falling. The SPAC is changing. Chen Xiang frowned. They were originally going forward, but now they suddenly dropped, going left and right at the same time. Can you go back? Long Shui asked. I don't know yet, but the changes in SPAC here are very strange. Even if I have the SPAC laws, it would still be difficult to find out. Chen Xiang said, looks like the power that separates here, other than the power of SPAC, there is also another type of law energy. When these two powers are combined together, and then mixed together in reverse, it's very difficult to fathom. What is the power of the other law? Asked curiously. Other than Long Shui, no one else knew of Chen Xiang's miserable state. It should be the time laws. The power of time has always been mysterious. I'm not too sure either. In short, the chaos in SPAC plus the confusion in time forms a very strong barrier. It's very difficult to leave this place after entering. Chen Xiang said. After a while, neither Chen Xiang nor the L suppressing guardians moved. They were both lying in the same place, and there was the scent of the soil in this place. They had already arrived at a relatively normal place, but this place was completely dark. 9 Crimson Star, 9 Calamity God's punishment, finished, everything is finished. The L suppressing guardians watched as the 9 blood stars formed in a straight line, emitting a blood-red glow that enveloped the entire ground. The ground was eerily dark red, and the surroundings were a desolate place. The faint blood-red light shone through, and one could see the dark red, withered hills, which added to the eerie atmosphere of the place. What divine punishment of the 9 disasters? Chen Xiang asked. We were killed by you. Without sufficient strength, we cannot leave this place. The L-suppressing guardians glared at Chen Xiang. You better give me a quick death right now so that my soul can quickly descend into Hell. However, looking at you, you don't have the ability to kill me. All the bones in Chen Xiang's body shattered, but he could still move. He could make his divine power seep into his four limbs, and then use his divine power to replace the bones and allow himself to move flexibly. Weren't you afraid before? Why are you in such a hurry to die? Chen Xiang was very confused. If you don't die soon, as long as the 9 stars circulate, you won't be able to die even if you want to. You will be tortured until the next time the 9 stars form a new line. L-suppressing guardians looked up in fear, seeing the 9 blood-red stars that were emitting red light in the sky. That is the God's punishment, the power that specializes in punies. Plussing the Gods. If one receives the highest punishment in God's realm, they will be thrown here, and only after 9 consecutive rounds will they be released. Chen Xiang exclaimed, "Doesn't that mean there are other Gods here? This place is an ancient God's punishment grounds. It has already been sealed for a very long time, but the energy that is circulating here is still here, so it will be sealed here. There are no Gods left in this place. You can leave after being tortured here for 981 times. This is an ancient God's punishment grounds. It has already been sealed for a very long time, but the energy that is circulating here is still here, so it will be sealed here." L-suppressing guardians' face was filled with despair. "And when the great calamity descends, you will not die, because this place will make you endure endless pain at all times." Chen Xiang and the others were shocked that the dark area of the life forest was actually a God realm punishment grounds. Now that they had barged into this place and were unable to leave, and the punishment energy had not disappeared, it meant that the punishment energy would continue. As long as there was a creature inside, it would be activated. Chen Xiang and the others were shocked that the dark area of the life forest was actually a God realm punishment grounds. Now that they had barged into this place and were unable to leave, and the punishment energy had not disappeared, it meant that the punishment energy would continue. As long as there was a creature inside, it would be activated. Chen Xiang tried to use his spatial energy, but it was completely useless. The space and time here were extremely strange, and the spatial laws he mastered were not applicable here at all. If you want to die, then don't resist the poison in your body. Just let the poison spread and you can die. Chen Xiang was calm, but he used his divine power to support his body and slowly moved towards L-suppressing guardians. This won't do. If those strange poisons destroy my body, then a power will be born here. It will invade my body to restore my body, and my soul will also be forcefully pulled back into my body by that power to continue bearing the punishment. L-suppressing guardians snorted. Even if you wanted to kill me now, you wouldn't be able to. There is another power in this place that can revive dead people. Otherwise, the life forest outside would not have been so strange. It would have been affected by the life force here. Chen Xiang laughed. "I can't kill you? If I kill you, don't regret it. Of course, the dead cannot be regretted. Come at me, L-suppressing guardians was very confident that Chen Xiang wouldn't be able to kill him. All of the bones in Chen Xiang's body had been broken, and his muscles had been severely injured. However, his divine power was very strong. He could use it to attach to his 4 limbs, and then use it to move his limbs. "Then I'll thank you first." Chen Xiang snickered and took out a special wooden box. After opening the wooden box, there was some white powder. "Thank me? What is that thing in your hand?" The L-suppressing guardians frowned. Chen Xiang had many kinds of strange poisons in his hands. He thought that this might be a very strong poison. "Something that can take your life." Chen Xiang poured the powder from the wooden box onto Hel suppressing Guardian's body. This thing is called Eclipse powder, you should. Before Chen Xiang could finish his words, the Hel suppressing Guardians let out a wild roar. His body was emitting mist and was being corroded. Chen Xiang laughed. Thank you for your divine soul. To be able to obtain such a powerful divine soul like yours, my injuries are worth it. He channeled his devouring magic kung fu and the soul-absorbing devil spell, quickly extracting the Hel suppressing Guardian's soul from it, then devouring it into his own divine sense before placing it into the divine deity. Hel suppressing Guardian's body had already turned into mist and dissipated. His soul had also been swallowed by Chen Xiang and had already died. In Chen Xiang's eyes, this place that punished the gods was not as scary as what the Hel suppressing Guardians had said. After entering and killing the Hel prince, he had gained the Hel prince's divine deity and divine soul, as well as the Eagle Emperor's three Beast Emperor's divine souls. Furthermore, he had also obtained the Hel suppressing Guardian's divine soul, so his harvest was extremely bountiful. Start to heal, then properly digest the soul that has been devoured these days. If only these souls could be moved. Chen Xiang wanted to give these divine souls to Lu Menger and Xue Xianxian. That's not good. It's better for the soul to cultivate it itself, or to use other methods to help it grow. For example, the methods in the divine devil cult, using someone else's soul as the base of their soul is not good. Long Xue said, other people's soul is only suitable for cultivation. Chen Xiang said, when the divine devil cult's sect leaders' memories were searched, I know that they have cultivated the secrets of the God soul. Once I leave this Ned place, I will return to the Nine Heaven world and help Xianxian and the elder sister Menger develop their God soul. Hurry up and refine the SPAC black iron. If you want to return to Nine Heaven world, you will need to rely on the artifacts refined by the SPAC black iron to be safe. Lu Menger and the other girls were busy inside the ring, understanding that the presence of so many SPAC black iron was a huge project. If they were to do it in the divine fire forest, with Jiang Xing's help as a divine craftsman, it would be much easier. Chen Xiang started to cultivate. Since the 9 blood-colored Bane stars in the sky did not make any movements, it meant that there would not be any danger for the time being. Using the heavenly alchemy to refine those divine souls should be a lot faster. When my divine soul becomes stronger, I can then refine the divine deity of the Hel Prince into my own divine deity so that my divine deity can become even stronger. Chen Xiang thought. His body was extremely weak when compared to the cultivation of his soul, and looking at his current cultivation level of divine deity, plus the fact that he could cultivate Emperor Soul S in the future, he would need to have at least the jade bones to be able to balance himself. Cultivating the physical body was extremely difficult, and the quickest way was through high-level pills, such as sacred pills. Back then, the pill saint relied on eating the holy elixir to cultivate to become a powerful jade bone. Chen Xiang was very confident that he would be able to obtain a powerful physical body in the future. As long as he could refine a holy elixir and find a medicinal ingredient to strengthen his body, he would definitely be able to do so. Chen Xiang had divine deity. As long as he could settle down and cultivate, he could quickly refine the soul that had been devoured and make his own soul stronger. The divine souls of Hel Prince, Dragon Emperor and Hel suppressing Guardians were all extremely strong and were not easy to refine. Only when Chen Xiang combined with his divine deity could there be any obvious progress, and even then, it still required a period of time to complete. As he trained, he did not feel the pious sage of time, especially when Chen Xiang was studying the heavenly alchemy and cultivating at the same time. During this time, he did not have much contact with the girl inside the Yuyao ring, nor did they disturb Chen Xiang, which was why he was able to concentrate on cultivating. It had already been a year, and in this blood-colored starlight-covered punishment grounds, only Chen Xiang was left. The surroundings were deathly still without any sound, but this place was filled with an extremely dense amount of life force. Even if the previously heavily injured Chen Xiang didn't heal himself, he would still be able to recover quickly after lying here for a period of time. This was exactly as the HELL suppressing guardians had said. It would be extremely difficult for him to die here. I've finally finished refining those divine deity. Chen Xiang opened his eyes and exhaled. There was a look of disappointment on his face. You haven't cultivated an emperor's soul? Long Shui asked. If it was like this, she could understand Chen Xiang's disappointment. Chen Xiang shook his head. No, those fellow souls can only absorb a little too little energy. The rest will turn into impurities and be refined away during refinement. The main reason is that these fellow souls are not pure enough. Although the souls of HELL Prince and the Dragon Emperor were strong, there were too many elements of evil that could not be absorbed. Therefore, although Chen Xiang had devoured a lot of the souls, although the souls were strong, only a small amount of them could be absorbed. Don't be discouraged. How can cultivating Emperor's soul be so easy? In the past, the strong of Lord Stage S would at least take 10,000 years to cultivate. Long Shui comforted her. Do you need my help? Long Shui's help was to cultivate the GODS join method. I don't need it for now. This place isn't suitable for me. I should take the opportunity to copy some of the poison now. Chen Xiang had used up all of his super old poison S, so he had to refine some of them just in case. I don't need it for now. This place isn't suitable for me. I should take the opportunity to copy some of the poison now. Chen Xiang had used up all of his super old poison S, so he had to refine some of them just in case. It had taken him 3 months to duplicate the poison and then refine it again, and the progress of the ring was also very slow. After refining the SPAC black iron, they had to refine it a step further to be able to raise the quality of the SPAC black iron, otherwise the refined treasure would not be good. Chen Xiang had stayed here for more than a year, but he had not encountered any danger. The 9 blood-colored Bane stars in the sky were still the same as before, lining up in a straight line without any movement. Although it was safe until now, Chen Xiang was still rather worried. The only thing that made him feel at ease was that he would not die here, but from the description of the HELL suppressing guardians, he would definitely die rather than live. What are your plans now? Long Shui said. There's no danger right now. It seems that it will take a while before this place will start to circulate. You can continue to cultivate. It would be best to refine that divine deity. Chen Xiang asked. If my divine deity becomes stronger, will it be of help in my cultivation of Emperor's soul? Long Shui immediately replied. Of course it's helpful. You can try. If you don't believe it, you should know the benefits of having a strong divine deity in order to cultivate the divine soul. If you don't have the divine soul, do you think that you can refine those swallowed divine souls that quickly? Of course not. It's just that I feel that it's very difficult for me to cultivate an emperor's soul, unlike other people. This was not an illusion on Chen Xiang's part. Long Shui had the same feeling. S soul was already very powerful, stronger than even some of the strong of Lord Stage's emperor souls, but his soul was still not that of an emperor soul. Long Shui said, This is a good thing. It means that your emperor soul will be very powerful. But don't worry too much about your emperor soul's abilities. It should be related to refining pills, and it will definitely be of help to you. Amen. I will start refining the HELL Prince's divine deity now, don't be so tired while you're inside, I still haven't thought of a way to get out of here. If it wasn't for the dangers of this place, he would have let the girls out and had them have a good chat. Chen Xiang began to cultivate and refine the divine deity. Inside his divine sense, a cauldron appeared. It was formed by him using the heavenly alchemy, and inside the furnace was a Taiji array that was filled with the composition of spirit grain. The divine deity was suspended above the Taiji array, and following the rotation of the Taiji array, the divine deity continuously released some black qi, forcing the evil consciousness inside the divine deity to come out. Hel. Devil Emperor, no matter how strong you are, I will not lower my head to you. Just you wait. Sooner or later, I will let you know how powerful I am. Don't think that hiding in Hel will allow you to rest easy. Determined, Chen Xiang clenched his fist, and the divine deity of the Hel prince inside the divine sense immediately shattered, turning into a sheet of sparkling and translucent light, all of it being absorbed by his own divine deity. As expected, after his divine deity absorbed the powder, it had become much more powerful. At least, he could feel that his perception towards strength was much sharper than before and was able to unleash the greater potential of his body. Previously, Zhen had said that if he wanted to become stronger, he would have to grab it from his physical body. Only when his physical body becomes stronger would his divine deity and divine soul become stronger, and only after balancing would they be able to unleash their strongest powers. Now I'm training my fleshly body. If my physical body cannot keep up, maybe I won't be able to cultivate Emperor Soul. Every time Chen Xiang devoured and refined a few divine souls, even though he felt that he had clearly improved, and always felt that he was not too far away from becoming an Emperor Soul, he was still unable to cultivate an Emperor Soul after so long. Therefore, he now decided to cultivate his fleshly body to an even stronger level. There is a spirit refinement method and a body refinement method in the heavenly alchemy. I will try it now. Chen Xiang stood up, his legs slightly opening up, his fists clenched. He steadily stood on the ground, and started circulating the heavenly alchemy's body tempering manual. A circular array appeared under his legs. The mystical spirit grain that was drawn with the divine power was releasing waves of piercing gold light. Following the appearance of countless spirit grain, a red light suddenly spurted out and enveloped his body. Chen Xiang's body was wrapped up by the red light. The red light was like an air flame, constantly pulsating and coiling around Chen Xiang's body. Within the red light there were also a lot of small spirit grains, which looked extremely strange. It was difficult to explain it clearly, but in short, it was extremely uncomfortable. The clearest feeling was that his body felt like it was being pulled, like it was melting, and his bones felt like they were cracking, but it wasn't really that painful, only a little sour and itchy, which were occasionally accompanied by a weak, stinging sensation. The reason why he used the heavenly alchemy to cultivate his fleshly body was because he was constantly using up the vast amounts of God power in the divine sense. These God power could still be cultivated even after exhausting it, and the use of these God power did not seem to be a waste. Of course, only in this situation would he dare to use his God power to cultivate. When he used the heavenly alchemy to refine his body, the consumption of divine power was extremely fast. In merely half a day, Chen Xiang already felt that his extremely robust divine power had been reduced by 80%. If this was an ordinary situation, it would be hard for him to suddenly lose so much divine power. Now he stopped cultivating and ate some immortal pills that helped him recover his spiritual power. It took him 4 hours to recover, and then he continued to cultivate his physical body. After going on like this for more than 10 days, Chen Xiang felt that his body had improved significantly, but it was still rather slow. This method of cultivating the body was the fastest way to not eat high-level pellets, but it still required a lot of time. He felt that he would need at least hundreds, or even thousands, of years to see the best result. There's no other way. If I want to make my body stronger quickly, the only way is to concoct the sacred pill. It seems that I need to learn to concoct the sacred pill here. Chen Xiang said. You can refine sacred animal dan and tianlong dan. These are the herbs in your possession that can continuously evolve. Long Shui laughed. Chen Xiang already knew how to refine the jadeite divine pellet for the level 7 spirit pellet, but he didn't have the materials for the next level 8 and 9, so he had never tried it. The refined ingredients for sacred animal dan and tianlong dan could evolve. If it really wasn't possible, then using these to refine one's hands was also possible. It wasn't that good, but it could more or less be used to raise one's level. I can only give it a try. As long as I have time, I will refine a grade 8 or 9 sacred animal dan. Then, I will continuously try to refine some divine pills. Chen Xiang had already planned to stay here for a while, until he could concoct the holy pellet. Refining sacred animal fruit and tianlong dan, even if their grade had increased, it would not be too difficult to refine them. Because the refining method was always like that, the only thing that needed to be altered was the control over the temperature of the furnace, so if he kept refining the 2 pellets, it would at most allow Chen Xiang to familiarize himself with the control of the fire during refining process. As long as the temperature of the fire increased, it would be beneficial to him in concocting the holy pellet. After all, he was using the heavenly alchemy when concocting pills, not the foreseeing alchemy. For foreseeing alchemy to raise his level, he would need to go through a lot of training. For example, Chen Xiang only knew how to refine level 7 immortal pills. If he wanted to refine level 8 immortal pills, he would need to use the foreseeing alchemy to refine a lot of level 7 immortal pills. Furthermore, there was no need for God purification. As long as one had a certain level of experience, with a soul and flames that were strong enough, they would know how strong the flames were when refining a grade 7 celestial pellet. You have quite a lot of holy level medicinal ingredients, and some are useful to your body. If you were to use them to concoct a sacred pill, it wouldn't be a problem for you to obtain a strong physical body as soon as possible. Long Shui said. Menger, do you need to eat some high-grade immortal pills to improve your cultivation? Chen Xiang asked. You can put aside the work at hand. I'm not in a hurry to get that SHI+P anyways. I care more about your strength being raised. Let's not use that for now. Refining every day is also a form of cultivation. If you can refine a holy pellet, so what if our progress is slower? Lu Menger smiled and said, You already have a holy pellet. When the time comes, wouldn't it be even easier for us to become stronger? It's much better than training hard now. That's right, it would be even better if you had a soul by then. You should start concocting the holy elixir as soon as possible. Shui Xianxian chuckled. Sister Shui gave us so many delicious things every day, it's not much worse than those immortal pills. Don't worry about me. That's good, then I'll be troubling you. Chen Xiang's heart suddenly filled with an indescribable warmth. Don't be polite with us. Dongfang Xinyu scoffed. You really don't treat us as your own people. Chen Xiang chatted with the girls for a while before he started to refine the immortal grade 8 sacred animal dan. When a level 8 immortal sacred animal fruit was placed inside the Yanlong furnace, Chen Xiang used the sacred flame to heat it up and began to refine it. He now had a deeper understanding of the heavenly alchemy, so he felt that it would be much easier to refine it in the future. Now, when he was refining the sacred animal dan, he felt that it had become much simpler. In the past, if he wanted to refine the medicinal ingredients, he would need to continuously use his divine power to attack the spirit within the ingredients, and at the same time, control the powerful flames to burn them. Furthermore, after he gained a deeper understanding of the heavenly alchemy, He had improved it when he was using it. When he started refining the herbs, it was not that difficult anymore, but he needed to release a flame that had a spiritual nature. The flame was released through some methods of the heavenly alchemy. Although it was only a small flame, it consumed a lot of mental strength. Right now, Chen Xiang had to control the strength of the spirit fire. After finding a suitable temperature, he would be able to quickly refine the sacred animal fruit, although he needed to adjust his body a little at the beginning, but once he found the right spot, he could quickly refine the spirit fire. To Long Shui, refining the 8th or 9th grade sacred animal danas, they were nothing more than snack. If he wanted to help with cultivation, he would need to obtain the holy pellet. To Long Shui, refining the 8th or 9th grade sacred animal danas, they were nothing more than snack. If he wanted to help with cultivation, he would need to obtain the holy pellet. If you can concoct a holy elixir, and it is very fast, then it will definitely be under your control. Just thinking about it made Long Shui excited, because Chen Xiang had created many amazing miracles in pill refining. The number of pill saints in 9 heaven world and the endless heaven realm could be counted on one hand, but most of these pill saints lacked a large amount of holy level medicinal ingredients, and their refining techniques were similar and used the CEU, Bursum foreseeing alchemy. Chen Xiang laughed. I have no intention of beating the world, I only want to refine some higher level pills, and look for higher level medicinal ingredients to make myself and the other important people around me stronger, to be able to explore everywhere. My ambition is not that big. That's true. If you can concoct so many sacred pills in the future, you will definitely find it boring to fight and kill everywhere. Long Shui thought for a while, then laughed. It's better to eat and drink until the food is good. The Yanlong furnace had always been stable, but this was the first time Chen Xiang used this kind of holy level spirit fire to refine a pill. He never expected it to have such an unexpected effect. Everything is going smoothly, just like how I refined a tier 6 or 7 immortal pill. It seems like this 8-rank sacred animal dan is very easy. Chen Xiang was a little surprised. Could this be because of the sacred animal dan? He had refined sacred animal dan all the way here. Although refining high-level sacred animal dan required high-level sacred animal fruit, he was very clear about its special characteristic. Adding on to the fact that he had a stable spirit fire, it was only because of this that it had gone so smoothly. I wonder how is the Tianlong Dan being refined? Chen Xiang was suddenly looking forward to using this holy level spirit fire to refine the other grade 8 pills. Since the refining process was so smooth, I might as well refine a few more. Long Shui laughed and said, although it won't help me cultivate much, but this pill is very delicious, eating more won't hurt me. Chen Xiang scoffed, all you know is to eat and eat all day, don't lead Xian Xian and the others astray. If they were to eat all day like you did, I would be in pain. At this time, Shui Xianxian's sweet, clear, bell-like laughter rang out. Blossom Heart Big Radish, we will eat to the end of the world. Sister Shui Yi said that you need to eat more before you can become stronger. Xian Xian, don't listen to her. Her understanding of food is different from yours. Chen Xiang said with a bitter face. I've raised enough greedy dragons, you guys don't have to blindly meddle in this. Serves you right, who told you to go around stirring up trouble, you don't have that kind of ability, to have mercy on others back then, as far as I know. My future sisters might fill this place. Shui Xianxian scoffed. In the future, ask Shui Yi to teach you more about eating. I want to see if you have the power to control so many women. Hearing Long Shui's gloating laughter, Chen Xiang really wanted to pull her out, tie her up and put her in front of a pile of delicious food. If she couldn't eat it, Chen Xiang would torture her to death. Actually, there's nothing to be afraid of. When the time comes, I will definitely be able to deal with it. Chen Xiang suddenly became very confident, because he thought of a person who could help him in this aspect, and that person was LV Qilian. When the spirit liquid he condensed mixed with LV Qilian's spirit liquid, it would be extremely powerful, and he and LV Chilian would still be able to grow in the future. At that time, they might even be able to be even more powerful, and would be able to help him duplicate many high-grade medicinal ingredients. Alright. Chen Xiang opened his pill furnace. This was an 8th-ranked sacred animal Dan, but Chen Xiang did not feel much accomplishment because the difficulty of refining this sacred animal Dan was too low. I used 4 hours to refine 4 pills. He's really strong, not bad at all. If I were to put in more effort, I should be able to make a furnace out of it in just 2 hours. Long Shui tasted the 8th ECLA.S. Sacred Animal Dan S refined by Chen Xiang and praised it endlessly. Although Long Shui liked to eat them, she was also very generous. She gave the ingredients to Kong Bailing and Pearl respectively. Following that, the Tianlong Dan S were the same as the Sacred Animal Dan, and everything went smoothly. In order to test the holy level spirit fire, he had repeatedly refined the Immortal Grade 8 Sacred Animal Dan and the Tianlong Dan. After refining dozens of them, he finally stopped. Grade 8 Immortal pills are more famous than spirit consolidating pills. They are mainly used to stabilize the soul. Chen Xiang sighed with his head raised. It would have been great if I could get it back then. Grade 8 immortal pills were usually eaten by Saint Immortals or Saint Lords, and at this level, one would usually focus on cultivating the soul. Moreover, there were very few people who could transform into a saint realm, and only after reaching the saint realm would they be able to cultivate the soul. At this time, a lot of attention was being paid to cultivating the soul. Therefore, grade 7 and 8 pills were extremely helpful to the soul and could be sold at an exorbitant price. Lad, you want the materials for the solidified spirit pill? Just as Chen Xiang was letting out a long sigh, a voice suddenly came out, startling him. There was actually someone else inside. Who is it? Chen Xiang suddenly stood up, looked around, and saw nothing. He had been here for more than a year. Although he did not encounter any danger, he still maintained his high vigilance. However, he did not discover anyone during this period of time. Don't worry, I'm a human, I won't hurt you. A chubby middle-aged man with a black bag on his shoulder walked over with a smile on his face. He looked like a martyr who was eyeing his prey. Are you human? What are you doing here? Chen Xiang asked, clenching his fists tightly. He was wary of his opponent. I'm a merchant. I can bring anything the people here need. The fat middle-aged man smiled and said, My name is Pengrini, most people call me the benevolent and righteous husband. Chen Xiang looked at his deceptive smile and muttered, No matter how I look at it, he looks like an annihilator. Why are you here? Isn't this place the God's punishment ground? Chen Xiang pointed to the 9 blood-colored bane stars in the sky. Pengrini laughed. This was indeed a God's punishment ground in the past, but that was a long time ago. You must have been here for a while. Have you encountered any disasters? Obviously not, because the 9 stars were sealed a long time ago. Let's return to the main topic at hand. You mentioned earlier that you need the materials to concoct the solidified spirit pill, right? I can get it for you. Chen Xiang said. I want to go out, can you help me? How the hell did you get in? If this place is not a God's punishment ground, then what kind of place is it? You don't need to know where this is, and you don't need to worry about not being able to leave in the future. Just stay here for a while longer and you will understand. You've been here for so long, you haven't been around, have you? Pengrini laughed. This place is not as scary as the guy you killed said. This place is still filled with love. In this dark place that was shrouded in blood-red light all day, no matter how one looked at it, it didn't seem like love at all. It was more accurate to say that there were ghosts, and this fellow in front of him was full of nonsense. In this dark place that was shrouded in blood-red light all day, no matter how one looked at it, it didn't seem like love at all. It was more accurate to say that there were ghosts, and this fellow in front of him was full of nonsense. I just want to get out now, Chen Xiang said. You are a merchant, as long as you can pay the price, you should help me get out, right? Pringrunny smiled and nodded. It is indeed like this, as long as I can pay the price, I can help you out. However, I have stayed here for over 100,000 years and have not been able to earn enough money, so it's best that you don't think of it. With the sudden appearance of a new member, we will definitely welcome you. Chen Xiang was startled. The fatty in front of him had actually stayed here for more than 100,000 years, yet he was still unable to leave. I remember that someone came in before and even went out. You're lying, Chen Xiang said. The vermilion bird had come in before and had even gone out smoothly. We were surprised that she could get out. We discussed it for a few months and thought she was lucky, but you didn't have that kind of luck and neither did we. Pringrunny said, Don't worry, this place is similar to your outside world, it's just that there are not many people here, and your devilish technique that devours others should not be used carelessly. We have a lot of love here, we do not wish to see people die, if not it will be very boring. Chen Xiang curled his lips. You're already bored to death, how many people are there here? Only 500,000 yuan, right? But most of them are very powerful. With your current strength, you're only at the bottom. Pringrunny laughed. But you don't have to worry, I won't bully you, the people here are all good. Chen Xiang was in disbelief. If he's a good person, how could he be locked in this G.O.'s punishment ground? Pringrunny shook his head and sighed. Honestly speaking, most of us are imprisoned here. This place is equivalent to a cell, only a few unlucky fellows like you can't enter and leave. We were locked in here not because they thought we were bad, but because some even worse people are worried that we would ruin their good fortune, so they threw us in. All right, I'll believe you for now. Chen Xiang felt that the fatty in front of him was not simple. His strength must be very strong, if not he would not have quietly been staring at him for over a year. Brother-Rinny, if you want to go out, what do you need to do? Chen Xiang still wanted to leave. Although Pringrunny said that this place was filled with love, this kind of lifeless place made people not want to stay. You only need to get 1,000 gold coins. Pringrunny took out 2 round coins that were faintly emitting a silver light. Chen Xiang looked carefully, the surface looked very smooth, but if he looked closely, he would realize that on the smooth surface there were very thin and fine lines. It was a kind of spirit grain that was very thin and engraved, and there were a lot of them. Pringrunny flipped over another side, and on top of it was written the word God. This ancient character was taught by Long Shui, and this character was also formed from a large number of complicated spirit grains, and this side also had many floating strange diagrams, which were also formed by spirit grain. Just how much energy did you put into creating this kind of coin? Was it necessary? What is the purpose of this coin? Chen Xiang reached out and picked one up, looking at it carefully. This kind of coin was unlike the holy stone and immortal stones he used before. They could absorb the energy inside it to cultivate. Hee little brother, your eyesight is quite good. You can see the power of this G.O.D. money with a single glance. If I gave you the material, would you be able to make an exact copy of it? Pringrunny asked with a smile. No, it's too complicated. Even if I could, I would need to do it over and over again, and adding the time spent on it, I might barely be able to do it. However, I might need to consume a lot of materials, and I also need to use a lot of time to memorize all of the spirit grain. Chen Xiang frowned, thinking about the complex situation that had happened. He felt a headache. Who the hell made this thing? Chen Xiang felt that this person's smithing skills must be even better than Jiang Sheng's. This man is the G.O.D.'s realm's G.O.D. of fortune, and these kinds of things were created by him. We have an old man here who took 300,000 years to make a face. Pringrunny sighed, and if we want to go out we can just give 1,000 of these to the penalty heavenly G.O.D. I only have around 50 of these divine money. Hearing that, Chen Xiang could not help but be startled, and then he returned the divine money back to Pengrini. Even though Pengrini had been in here for more than 100,000 years, he could only get around 50 or so. This showed just how precious this type of divine money was, but he was still generous and showed it to Chen Xiang. How do we do 1,000? How much money is there exactly? Chen Xiang asked. If one has very little divine money, doesn't that mean that battles to steal and rob often happen? How can there be love in this place? Pengrini laughed out loud. When I first came in, I also felt the same way, but after this divine money drips blood, as long as it is taken away by someone, you can return it to your hands with a thought. If you are killed, the divine money will also disappear. So powerful! Chen Xiang exclaimed. No wonder it's so complicated to create. An old fellow had taken 300,000 years to create one. If the other side could be created, it would take at least 300,000 years, 600,000 years to create one. Just thinking about it was terrifying. Of course, this was created by the God of Fortune. The God of Fortune in God's realm is a very powerful being, and this kind of divine money is always released and reclaimed by him. It is said that the ones responsible for making it are only a few of his disciples, and they produce quite a bit every year. Pengrini said, "This place can be seen as the divine prison, a special place to imprison harmless people. Those who commit many evil deeds are all in hell. So that's how it is." Chen Xiang looked at the 9 Bane calamity stars in the sky and asked, "Then what do I need to buy the spirit consolidating pellets, medicinal ingredients from you? I just came in, so I don't have that kind of money." "You are an alchemist genius, refining the sacred animal Dan of the 8th stage of the immortal realm and the Tianlong Dan of the Tianlong Dan. That speed is shockingly fast, although the majority of the people imprisoned here are above God's realm, they are not strong, and there are a few beasts around, so I guarantee that they will not lose out if you help me refine those sacred animal Dan," Pengrini said. "There are 2 different ingredients for the soul consolidating pellet. The cyan jade ginseng and the palm flower. How many sacred animal Dan-s do you need in exchange?" Chen Xiang asked. "How about 20 sacred animal Dan-s and 20? Pengrini laughed. "That's very kind of you. 5 sacred animal Dan, 5 Tianlong Dan." Chen Xiang curled his lips. "My 10 pills are all grade 8 pills, and the quality is even better, yet you only need to give me 2 grade 8 immortal medicines. You have already made a huge profit." Chen Xiang did not lack sacred animal Dan-s, but he was not willing to be at a disadvantage, not to mention that his opponent was so evil. "All right." Pengrini laughed. "I'm a businessman, so it's normal to seek higher interests for myself. Please don't mind me. I understand, I've met many people like you before." Chen Xiang took out 20 sacred animal Dan-s and 20 Tianlong Dan-s, all from Long Shui. "In the future, let's work together more. My channels are wider, and if you have more medicinal pills, I can sell them for you." Pengrini was more satisfied with this transaction. Chen Xiang asked, "Are all the trades here conducted by trading items?" The denomination of divine money was very large. A divine money's value was very high, so the things it bought would definitely be very precious. If it was an ordinary item, then it would definitely not be just exchanging for an item. There are a lot of black holy iron here. After repeatedly forging these black holy iron, you will be able to make the same divine silver iron as the divine money. We will turn it into silver, but we usually use this kind of silver iron to trade. Pengrini took out a silver coin that was the size of God's money. The only difference between this silver coin and God's money was that there weren't any spirit grain carved on it. This kind of money is not easy to get. A level 8 immortal sacred animal Dan would need 5 of this kind of money to buy one, and one of this kind of money needs 10,000 pounds of black saint iron to create it. Some veterans need a month, to make one. Pringrini said, I can also give the money I made to the God of Fortune. After the God of Fortune recovers, they can use it to refine God's money. Chen Xiang started to understand. So if you want the divine money, you need to use this silver to exchange? How much do I need in exchange for a divine coin? 100 million silver taels can be exchanged for a divine coin from the God of Fortune. Seeing Chen Xiang was frightened, Pringrini laughed. Are you surprised? But let me tell you, this is how I got my 30 divine coins. 30 gold coins was exchanged for 3 billion silver coins. Just thinking about it, it was not easy. And to leave this place would require 1,000 gold coins. Chen Xiang's head suddenly hurt. It was truly difficult. Is there any black holy iron anywhere? Chen Xiang asked. Why didn't I see it? That's because you haven't gone anywhere yet. The place you're at right now is very desolate and has long been excavated. Look up, the 9 stars have the weakest radiance. Pringrini asked. The first one. Chen Xiang pointed. Right now, most of the people are on this planet. It's very big, you'll know when you go up and take a look. Pringrini laughed. It's best if you get used to it first before you run around. Those Bane stars are also full of danger. These Bane can actually go up. Chen Xiang was very surprised. Of course, you will know once you get to the higher-ups. Once you get there, everything will be normal. I'm going back now, so I'll take you up with me. If you want to fly up by yourself, it will take a long time. Pringrini took out a disc and stood on top of it with Chen Xiang. Then, he quickly controlled the disc to rise above the ground, and it disappeared into the distance in the blink of an eye. This abandoned God's punishment land had actually been turned into a prison specially used to imprison prisoners of God's realm. Pringrini said that most of these prisoners were good, which made him feel that the ruling CLA's of God's realm was not something good. And the biggest use of this place was to produce that kind of silver, and then send it to the God's realm to process it into divine money, which would circulate in the God's realm. Chen Xiang had initially thought that the 9 Bane stars were energy ma.s.ses, but he never thought that they were actually real stars. Furthermore, they were extremely huge, and were currently rotating slowly on their own, emitting a blood-red colored light. Chen Xiang had initially thought that the 9 Bane stars were energy ma.s.ses, but he never thought that they were actually real stars. Furthermore, they were extremely huge, and were currently rotating slowly on their own, emitting a blood-red colored light. Pringrini's disc flew extremely fast, and in an instant, was close to the first calamity fiend. Brother Pring, your magic treasure is quite powerful. If I were to fly at full speed, I would be far inferior to your flying disc. Chen Xiang carefully looked at the spirit grain on the surface of the frisbee and discovered that they were all extraordinary, just like the one in the divine book. I'm a businessman, I often have to run around. I have something fast that will save me a lot of trouble. If you want one, I can get one for you. Pringrini laughed. The flying discs below my feet are worth 2 divine coins, they were given to me by others. Although it was only 2 pieces of divine money, Chen Xiang knew that it was not easy to obtain divine money, hence he knew that it was a large amount. So, this thing is a delay weapon? Chen Xiang asked. Of course it is. A treasure that is worth a fortune is a divine tool, but there are both good and bad. In the God's realm, there are divine tools that are worth millions of divine coins. As he spoke till here, Pringrini's face was filled with longing. If there was a divine tool of that level, it would be quite impressive in the God's realm. A delay weapon that was worth tens of millions. Chen Xiang did not dare imagine what would happen. In short, these 2 flying discs with divine money were very powerful. How much is a blade like mine worth? Chen Xiang took out the green dragon demon-slain broadsword. After Pringrini received it, he almost let go because it was too heavy. Not a bad knife. I didn't expect you to have such a good item. I think it should be worth at least 10 D's coins. Where did you come from? It is reasonable to say that this kind of divine tool should not appear outside of the divine realm. Pengrini was a little surprised. He looked carefully and said, there should be someone who wants 20 gold coins. In the 9 heaven world and the endless world, this green dragon demon-slain broadsword was a very powerful divine blade, but in here it was only a little more than $20,000. On the other hand, in the Gods realm, aren't divine weapons that are worth millions stronger than green dragon demon-slain broadsword by many times? Chen Xiang started to admire Jiang Xing even more. As expected of a divine artisan, without divine deity, he was actually able to refine such a powerful divine weapon. How long does $20 usually take to earn? Chen Xiang asked. The rate at which ordinary people earn money. I've managed to get more than 50 of them over the course of 100,000 years. This is pretty good. If it's an ordinary person, they would need at least 100,000 years to get 20. Pengrini thought for a while. It's not easy to get a hold of delay money. There are a lot of people here who don't even have enough to spend. The money needs a large amount of dark saint iron to make it. Is the dark saint iron here ownerless? You can mine as you please, but won't there be a conflict or something like that? Chen Xiang asked. He also wanted to try and make some money, or perhaps give it to Dongfang Xinyue and the others, as they were experts in this area. If it was only the first bane, there definitely wouldn't be any conflicts. The first bane has its rules, so you'd better stay in the first bane. The other 8 banes are not harmonious, Pengrini said. Chen Xiang knitted his eyebrows, feeling cheated. Didn't you say before that there was love here? Pengrini coughed dryly a few times. I am only talking about Bane 1, I can guarantee that you will not have any trouble staying in Bane 1. As for the other Bane, it's hard to say. D.A.M. And Fatty, what are you hiding from me? I feel like I'm going to be sold by you. Chen Xiang glared at Pengrini. The frisbee had already flown into the red gas Hi plus ELD of Bane 1. From the air, one could see a large ocean. On land, there were many patches of green, most likely plants. Well, I do want to sell you. But don't worry, I have a good conscience. I will sell you for a good price and split half of it with you. You don't have any money. Pengrini patted Chen Xiang's shoulder and laughed. Am I righteous enough? Mercy, righteousness, your grandpa. Chen Xiang really wanted to kick this guy out and sell him off, yet he acted so boldly, thinking that he had helped someone else out greatly. I'm leaving, I'm not selling it for you. Just as Chen Xiang was about to leave, he was stopped by a hand on his shoulder. He was immediately unable to move, as Pengrini's strength had far surpassed his. Little brother, you don't have to worry too much. I sold you out because it's good for you. Pengrini's face turned serious. This is the worst and funniest reason I've ever heard. Why don't you just say that you sold me out? That was a blessing I earned from 3 lifetimes of cultivation. Chen Xiang curled his lips and said, I was going to say that. Pengrini laughed. All right, I will tell you the truth. I will sell you to a native bank there. I will specialize in producing silver, and I will sell you there. You just need to work there, and you won't be abused, and you will be paid for it. Pengrini suddenly lowered his voice. Actually, if you are nimble and can steal some money, this is a great opportunity. Even though you look like you're better at cooking, you are still quite amazing. I believe that you will be able to get a lot of money there. Chen Xiang lowered his head and thought. If he could send him to a native bank, it would indeed give him a very good opportunity to get a large amount of silver. Actually, I didn't sell you out, I only recommended you to work there, and those kinds of jobs are rarely done by others, so they would give me some recommendation fees, a total of 20,000 silver coins. I'll give you 10,000. As Pengrini said this, he took out a storage bag and said it to Chen Xiang. Look, this is the money. Chen Xiang took out a few that were SHI plus Ning with a silver light. Wait, didn't you say that you could only get 1 silver coin per month? If you give me 10,000, then I will need at least 10,000 months to work in that native bank? Pengrini said. That is only when a person uses his channeling power to search for the black sacred iron. Only when that person uses his channeling power to create one, would he need a month to do so. But the native bank is different, it is a large group of people. Then how long do I need to work in the native bank? Chen Xiang really wanted to go to native bank. 10 years, and every year there will be 1,000 silvers, and every 10 years there will be 10,000 silvers. Adding on the 10,000 silvers I gave you, this will be 20,000 silvers, and after 10 years of coming here, you will be able to get your hands on 20,000 silvers. You should know that for many small fries with your strength, it's only a few dozen silver coins a year. Pengrini still pressed down on Chen Xiang's shoulder, not allowing him to escape. Chen Xiang snorted. It requires 100 million silver to exchange for that kind of delay money. If I were to refine pills, it would be faster than going to native bank to work. Alright, I will tell you everything then. I have another reason for selling you in the native bank. I only let you partic. 1p. 8 because you are more trustworthy. I know that you are not a simple brat, or else you wouldn't have that divine blade. Pengrini retracted his smile, and revealed a stern expression. Pengrini released his hand, and did not press down on Chen Xiang's shoulder anymore, revealing his attitude. Pengrini released his hand, and did not press down on Chen Xiang's shoulder anymore, revealing his attitude. I've said it before, you can't steal the divine money, because only the master can use the divine money after it has been transferred to the blood. However, silver coins are different. Silver coins can be used. Pengrini chuckled. I have already arranged for people to come from the native bank. Once you enter, as long as they cooperate with me, they will help me steal a large amount of silver. Of course, you can't take too much at once. You can only take it a little at a time. Chen Xiang frowned. Why are you looking for me? Are you not afraid that I will tell the master of the native bank? Pengrini said. I believe in my judgment of others. You are a little brat who accidentally barged in. Moreover, you are in a hurry to leave. If you want to earn money quickly, you can only work with me. If you tell native bank's villa master, he won't be able to give you much. I don't know what kind of world is outside of you, but you should know very well, the masters of places like native bank are mostly miser or miser. Chen Xiang said with a look of despise. You said before that this place was a place with love. I thought it was really that harmonious. Pengrini chuckled. Didn't I trick you to come here? However, this Bane one is really not bad. Besides, wherever there were people, there would be darkness and rules. Wasn't this normal? The human heart is not the same, even the gods are the same. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a guy like the god of fortune. However, those guys have the strength to set the rules, so they don't have to work so hard. If there comes a day when the rules don't work out well for them, they will make new rules. Chen Xiang interrupted him and said, Cut the CRAP, tell me the specifics. If I am caught, what will happen to me? If you are caught, you will most likely be chopped off and then beaten up and thrown out. Your little life will usually be fine. Pengrini laughed. Don't worry, if your hands and feet are chopped off, I will use pills to help you recover them. If I were to cooperate with you, how much would I get? Chen Xiang was more worried about this. If he was to buy more pills and earn more money, he would not even bother taking this risk. Although Pengrini had only said that he would get his hands chopped off, he might even lose his life. This was a place where gods were locked up. With his little strength, he was just a piece of trash here. If you cooperate well, it'll cost you 1,000,000 silver a month. That is one of the 4 great native banks, and the owner of the native bank is a disciple of the god of fortune. In the end, the silver coins from the native bank will enter the God's realm and become the God's money for the God of Fortune's disciple. Pengrini said. A month's worth of money, that gave Chen Xiang a big shock. Isn't this courting death? If we were to steal the native bank opened by the God of Fortune's disciple, how can we be discovered and only have our hands chopped off? Chen Xiang said in shock. Actually, the 4 great native banks were opened here by the God of Fortune's disciples, and these disciples have many other disciples, all of whom are responsible for forging God's money. The God of Fortune's entire family is the richest in the God's realm, and all of the God's money comes from here. Pengrini said. For example, the speed at which God's realm consumes God's money, it would cost at least 10 billion or so per year. With more and more divine money, wouldn't that mean that the divine money is getting more and more worthless? Chen Xiang was curious about how the God's realm's God's money system operated. That's not true. After the divine money has circulated for a round, it will usually return to the hands of the God of Fortune or be in the hands of other Gods who are powerful enough to borrow the divine money. The majority of the divine money will also be used to make divine weapons, and the black sacred iron refined silver money is also a good material for refining divine weapons. Pengrini said. From this, it could be seen that in the God's realm, it was also a very complicated world, and there were words to speak with one's fist. If the God of Fortune was not powerful, then who would use the God's money that he made? In the God's realm, there are some people who, in order to obtain divine money, can mortgage their divine deity to borrow divine money to buy things. Sometimes, in order to obtain the divine deity, the native bank who lent out the divine money would send people to secretly obstruct others from earning divine money. Pengrini laughed. Pengrini started up the flying disc again, and brought Chen Xiang down to the vast land below. Stealing 1,000,000 silver a month, won't that cause any detection? Chen Xiang was still a little worried. That won't happen. You'll know when the time comes. Disciples of the God of Fortune rarely come to this D.A.M.N. place. As long as the amount of silver that is handed in every month is enough, we will just take away the excess. Pengrini laughed. In the distance there was a huge city with a large number of tall and grand stone buildings. The city didn't have any formations protecting it, and waves of bandits' auras were emitting from time to time. There were many experts gathered inside. There are quite a few people, and it's not as few as the 500,000 you mentioned, Chen Xiang said. I already said that it was a lie. God's realm is the world that first possessed life. It has existed for many years, and the people that were originally imprisoned in the divine prison were all sent here. Just in these 1,000,000 years, every year there are dozens of people sent here, and there are a lot of them. Pengrini said, God's realm is an extremely huge world. Every year there are many people who break the rules and get caught. Pengrini brought Chen Xiang and entered the city. The city was very old, and the buildings there seemed to be very old and full of history, but they were extremely stu dy and had not rotted even after so many years. Arriving at Bain No. 1, he could actually see sunlight here. If it was night time, he might be able to see the sky full of stars, but he couldn't see the other 8 Bain stars that were very close to him. Do you sell supreme Dan beads here? Chen Xiang suddenly asked. No, because those who can afford it are not here, and those who can concoct the divine pellets are even more unlikely to be here. Even the weakest of the divine pellets is selling for millions of dollars. With this much divine money we can leave a long time ago, Pengrini said. He had spent more than 100,000 on 50 gold coins. Where's the divine weapon? Chen Xiang asked again. He was shocked by the price of the divine pills, and it was the worst kind. There must be low-grade divine weapons. usually less than 50 divine coins. However, none of the new ones are used to it and they are all second-hand. When you are used to living here, you have no choice but to sell your divine weapons in exchange for comfortable days. Pungrini sighed. If I had thought like that, I could have very comfortably stayed here for many years. Chen Xiang really wanted to know more about the Gods realm from Pungrini, because that was the place that he would need to conquer in the future. Old Pung, why do you say that Gods realm has divine deity to sell to? What's the price? Chen Xiang asked. The ones that are formed are usually around 10 million, and there are even some that are better, but the ones that are better are fewer, because those with good divine deity are all very strong. They don't need to be treated as divine money, they can be earned a lot by relying on their strength. Pungrini replied, What? You want to buy it? Chen Xiang shook his head, then asked, If it's the Devil Emperor, if he wanted to buy 4 divine deity pellets, would that be a lot of pressure on him? Pungrini frowned. Why are you asking about this? The news of Devil Emperor's bounty for him did not come here, which made Chen Xiang heave a sigh of relief. This was the God of Fortune's territory after all, and the Devil Emperor did not dare offend the richest man in the Gods realm. Nothing, I'm just asking, Chen Xiang said. Devil Emperor mainly relies on selling souls to earn divine money. 4 pieces of the cheapest divine deity is nothing to him, his wealth is only at the bottom of the list, but he still has several billion divine coins. Pungrini said. Right now, Chen Xiang understood that these 4 divine deities were nothing to the Devil Emperor. However, they could make the 9 heaven world and the top rankers of the endless heaven realm go up and down the mountain of flames to chase him down. Shouldn't the wealthiest be a pill refiner? Chen Xiang asked. The divine pellets must be selling very expensive. There aren't many people that can refine divine pills on top, and most of them are people that can refine high-quality divine pills. Alchemists who know how to refine divine pills will earn a lot of money from others as well, otherwise who would be able to afford to refine pills? Pungrini laughed. You aren't planning on getting rich by concocting pills, are you? Are we almost there? Chen Xiang only refined pills to make himself stronger, or to exchange for more things that were useful to him. He was not interested in grasping a large amount of divine money, unless Lu Menger and the others needed divine money to refine. Pungrini pointed to the signature. Although it was short, it was still a huge building. It's there, called Fengshen Native Bank. Fengshen is the God of Fortune's 3rd disciple. Pungrini said before he sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. You'll know how exactly you need to steal the money once you get in. Someone will teach you. Just 200,000 silver? Chen Xiang replied. Isn't that enough? Every year there are at least 5 million. 200 years is 500 million, and that's enough for 5 divine coins. 2,000 years is 50. I only managed to get 50 in 100,000 years. Pungrini said snappily. Little guy, you're too greedy. Chen Xiang calculated that if he were to go at this speed, it would take him at least tens of thousands of years to get 1,000 gold coins. He couldn't stay here for that long. Even staying here for 100 years already made him depressed, let alone tens of thousands of years. Pungrini brought Chen Xiang into the Fengshen Native Bank, and the person who came out to welcome him was the manager of the native bank, a tall and skinny middle-aged man. He was very familiar with Pungrini, and the moment the two met, they chatted for a while. The manager of the native bank looked at Chen Xiang and nodded in satisfaction. Not bad, your body is very strong. He is a material for working. 10 years, 20,000 silver. The shopkeeper gave Pungrini 20,000 silver coins, then said to Chen Xiang, Lad, you just came in. Since you can come here to work, it can only be said that you are lucky. Other people wouldn't be able to come even if they wanted to. Work hard for 10 years and get to know this place well. Chen Xiang was brought underground to the Fengshen Native Bank, and below him was an extremely large silver coin workshop. After he was brought underground, he was told that he only had 1 day per month to go out, and the range could only be around the Fengshen Native Bank. Chen Xiang was brought underground to the Fengshen Native Bank, and below him was an extremely large silver coin workshop. After he was brought underground, he was told that he only had 1 day per month to go out, and the range could only be around the Fengshen Native Bank. There were tens of thousands of people here. The amount of silver that was produced was also very large. Chen Xiang saw that on the warehouse at the side, there was a mountain of silver money waiting to be processed. This place should be the last place to be processed. There should be other places as well. I wonder how the people here will get you to work together to steal the money. Long Shui said. You must be a newcomer. Follow me. A middle-aged man walked over. Looking at his clothes, he seemed to be one of the more prestigious ones here. He sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. Did you bring this here for Pengrini? Did he say anything to you? Yes, he told me that when I get here, someone will teach me how to do it. Chen Xiang replied. Chen Xiang followed behind the middle-aged man and said, I am the manager here, you can call me Steward Tai. Your job is to take care of the silver and put it into the storage bag. Pengrini should actually have such authority in this place, to be able to easily arrange for him to do such a thing. On this matter, it was best to take away the money. But Chen Xiang didn't understand one thing. If there was only Steward Tai and Pengrini, they would be able to split the debt 50-50 without paying him 20%. Pengrini brought Chen Xiang into a very serious and cruel room. Inside, there were many piles of silver coins, with many holes in the walls, and the processed silver coins came out continuously, falling into the warehouse. There was a young man here who was putting lots of money into the storage bag. You have to be careful of that person. That person was sent down by Fengshen. Don't let anyone find out about it. I will tell you the person's details. Now Chen Xiang understood why Steward Tai did not do it himself. It was because if he was discovered, the consequences would be dire. If it was him, even if he got caught, Director Tai would at most just be blamed, and there wouldn't be much of a problem. Chen Xiang secretly despised Pengrini and this Steward Tai. They did not need to do anything to each of them to get 40% of the silver. These two bastards, no wonder they didn't even ask for my name. It seems that they already view me as a dead person. Chen Xiang harumphed in his heart. Steward Tai patted Chen Xiang's shoulder. Do your best. If you perform well, you might be able to reach my position in the future. After Steward Tai left, the man from the Fengshen sect walked over and handed over a basket of storage bag to Chen Xiang. You don't have any storage magic treasure on you, right? Although that person asked that question, he still used an extremely sharp gaze to sweep up and down Chen Xiang's body. Without waiting for Chen Xiang to reply, he nodded. As long as there were no storage magic treasure, it would be difficult for him to steal the money from here, so he was not too worried about anything else. There are 50 storage bags here, and each storage bag is worth 10 million silver. Don't count them wrong. Then, he showed Chen Xiang around. Taking out the storage bag, he released his divine power and a large amount of silver coins floated up. After a while, he took out 10 million silver coins and the silver coins flew like water into the storage bag. You should know what to do now. After that, the man walked to a distant corner and laid on the couch. He didn't need to do anything now, as long as he looked at Chen Xiang and didn't let him steal the money. Chen Xiang laughed coldly in his heart. This way, this guy will be lazy. There's no need to do anything else. Long Shui laughed. Pengrini, this fatty has underestimated you. He didn't know that you have a powerful serene jade ring. This warehouse was extremely huge, with over 100 holes all around, silver coins that would fall from the ceiling at any moment to enter. There was even a huge pile of silver coins here, and the silver coins were uncounted, making it very easy for Chen Xiang to steal the silver coins. Why aren't you starting? You have to finish packing these 50 bags today. The person at the corner shouted. His tone and attitude were not good, but Chen Xiang did not care, because he was the one who made the biggest profit. If he really wanted to do it, he could have filled all 50 bags in one go. But now, he purposely slowed down a bit, so that he could have a good look at this place. After he had packed a bag, the man walked over and counted the silver coins inside. He nodded his head and said, "You can go out and rest after packing 100 bags every day." Chen Xiang spent more than 6 hours to fill 50 bags. The man was relatively satisfied, and then, he took the storage bag and left the warehouse with Chen Xiang. This storehouse that stored silver coins was tightly wrapped in all sorts of barriers. Even Steward Tai didn't have the authority to open it, only the person sent by Feng Shen. Chen Xiang was brought to a villa in Feng Shen Native Bank. He had a very small house here, and not long after he sat down, Steward Tai came over. This is the detailed information about that person. Take a look first, we'll discuss the details later. Steward Tai transmitted his voice to Chen Xiang, but on the surface, he was asking about the work, in order to prevent others from overhearing and suspecting him. Chen Xiang looked at the information of the person in charge of the warehouse, and was shocked. That person was actually a capable subordinate of one of Feng Shen's disciples, called Yu Fan, who was extremely powerful, possessing divine deity, but he was not a god yet. "I don't have any storage magic treasure on me. Yu Fan had previously checked on me, and he kept a close eye on me." Chen Xiang sent a sound transmission to Steward Tai. "He told me that you did well, better than the others." Steward Tai laughed. Those people were also brought over by Peng Rini previously, but they were all clumsy and were chased away by Yu Fan before they could even make a move. Right now, you have left a good impression on him. If you do a good job in the future, you will definitely be able to earn quite a bit of money. Steward Tai gave Chen Xiang a storage ring and sent a sound transmission to him. "This is a storage magic treasure that Peng Rini and I have purchased at a high price. It can hide our bodies and not be discovered by Yu Fan." Chen Xiang took the storage ring and looked at the SPAC inside it. It was a lot smaller than the ring, but it could still fit in 100 million silver coins. "Take your time. We have time." Steward Tai was extremely satisfied with Chen Xiang, because Chen Xiang received Yu Fan's praise and could stay there to work for a long time. When Chen Xiang put the ring on, he couldn't help but to admire the equipment forger who made the ring, but he couldn't believe that Yu Fan didn't see through it. "You have a day each month that you can leave Feng Shen Native Bank. At that time, you can go for a walk. I believe you won't give up on the good work here, right?" In order to have Chen Xiang help him and Peng Rini steal the money, Steward Tai generously gave Chen Xiang 100,000 silver coins. Chen Xiang smiled and accepted the 100,000 silver coins. Although he did not know what he needed to buy, it was enough for him to buy Tier 8 and 9 immortal medicines, or even holy level S and herbs. He suddenly felt that it was not a bad thing for Peng Rini to sell him here. Chen Xiang smiled and accepted the 100,000 silver coins. Although he did not know what he needed to buy, it was enough for him to buy Tier 8 and 9 immortal medicines, or even holy level S and herbs. He suddenly felt that it was not a bad thing for Peng Rini to sell him here. If you can make Yu Fan more satisfied, he might come out for you to play every day. He has been sent here for more than 50 years, but he has not had much rest. Steward Tai said. "Can't you?" Chen Xiang asked. "Of course I can, but he won't let me help him because I'm stronger. Furthermore, your cultivation is low, so he has no qualms about doing so," Steward Tai said. When Steward Tai was about to leave, Chen Xiang still had a question in his heart. He thought for a moment, then asked, Steward Tai, what happened to the people that Pungrini asked to help you Fan earlier? Then they went far away. Steward Tai said with a smile, but Chun Xiang knew that he was definitely silenced by him and Pungrini. Pungrini and Steward Tai were actually not worried that he would tell Yu Fan about this. Steward Tai sent a sound transmission to Chun Xiang. You should know that if you were to tell Yu Fan about the three of us cooperating, he would definitely be the first one to kill you. Of course, you're a smart person. You must understand that you must have made a lot of money here. Chun Xiang secretly heaved a sigh of relief as he saw Steward Tai out. The pressure that Steward Tai had given him just now was too great. It could be seen that this Steward Tai was also a very strong person, similar to the arrogant wolf G.O.D.S. that he had met. If he wanted to go to the silver warehouse, he still had to wait until tomorrow morning. During this period of time, he used the alive slain method's condensed spirit liquid he had bought from Pungrini to refine the spirit-strengthening pill, green jade ginseng and palm flower. He wanted to copy some of the spirit-consolidating equipment that Pungrini had used to concoct the spirit-consolidating pill and use them as medicinal ingredient. Early in the morning the next day, Steward Tai came to find Chun Xiang and bring him to the silver warehouse where Yu Fan was already staying. After Steward Tai left, Yu Fan closed the doors to the warehouse. Then, he took out a treasure and made a house made of jade. Today, I need to fill 150 storage bags. When I'm done, I will knock on my door. Yu Fan inspected Chun Xiang's body again to see if he had brought any other storage magic treasure with him. Then, he handed over a basket full of storage bags to Chun Xiang. Actually, this kind of work was very simple, but it would take some time and also require a very trustworthy person to accomplish. Thus, Feng Shen could only personally send someone to supervise it, or have Feng Shen personally do it. As long as Yu Fan found someone that satisfied him, he would only need to be in charge of checking them every day. He could cultivate them any other time. Yu Fan did not know what he was doing inside, nor did he dare to investigate. He was afraid that if he was discovered by Yu Fan, he would be driven out, and at that time, he would definitely be silenced by Steward Tai and Pungrini. Long Shui laughed while he was inside the ring. Isn't this too easy? That Yu Fan didn't even inspect the storage magic treasure on your body more carefully and was so relaxed. Doesn't he know that there is a type of storage magic treasure that can hide? Lu Menger said. It's not that he doesn't know, but when Chun Xiang entered, he said through an invisible barrier, and that barrier was able to detect some storage magic treasure that was hidden. However, both the ring and the storage ring given by Manager Tai have not been found. Dongfang Xinyue said. The refining method of the Dark Dragon Ring is very clever. It is far more powerful than the ring that Steward Tai gave him. I believe Steward Tai and Pungrini must have spent quite a bit of their divine money to buy this ring. Chun Xiang had originally wanted to follow Steward Tai's instructions and do a good job for 1 or 2 months, but now that he saw how easy it was to get his hands on, he couldn't help himself anymore. This warehouse was a huge plaza. Silver money was piled up like a mountain, piled up all over the place. Chun Xiang reckoned that there were around tens of billions of silver here, and it was still increasing every day. Chun Xiang started to work. He started to place the silver into the storage bag, and while he was putting in the 70-odd storage bag, he started to make his move. When he used his divine power to cover a large amount of silver, he carefully counted out 11 million, and then moved the silver over. When he was about to put it in the storage bag, he used a little trick to trick them. It seemed like he had entered the storage bag but in reality, he had entered the ring with 1 million silver. As a result, Yu Fan would not be able to sense it. He still had over 70 storage bag to play with. He had used this method 25 times, and he had always brought back 2 million silver taels. This way, he would be able to bring back 50 million silver taels today. A divine coin required 100 million silver to exchange for it. Today, he had obtained half of it. Lord, I'm done. Chen Xiang lightly knocked on the jade hut's door. After Yu Fan opened the door, his divine power swept through the 150 storage bags in the basket at Chen Xiang's feet. He checked them over and over again, and when he found that there were no mistakes, he nodded his head in satisfaction. Chen Xiang received the box of silver coins with a joyous expression and immediately expressed his thanks. Of course, this was all an act. He had already gotten 50 million silver today, so he did not think much of it. From this, it could be seen that Yu Fan could use this money as he wished, but silver was of no use to him, only G's money could be used. He might not have the power to turn this money into G's money. Now, Chen Xiang was sure that there was no specific amount of money in the warehouse. It was alright as long as no one else took it away from here, and only Chen Xiang and Yu Fan entered. Yu Fan had no use for the money, and he was under Yu Fan's supervision, so Yu Fan was very relieved. Today, Chen Xiang only used 5 hours to finish the work, and he was also able to leave early. He was not surprised by how fast Chen Xiang could do so. He knew that Chen Xiang's divine strength was not weak, and would slowly get more familiar with it. Chen Xiang carried a box as he walked out of the warehouse happily. All the workers who saw him along the way had a face full of projects, because they were rewards, which meant that he had at least 1,000 silvers, which was something that others could only earn after working for a month. Chen Xiang was genuinely happy, because he had obtained 50 million silver coins. In the future, if he could do it well, it wouldn't even be a problem for him to get 100 million yuan a day. The production speed of the silver coins is so fast. I can accumulate that much money every day, even though I have to take a portion every day. Long Shui exclaimed, "Could it be that the Gods realm are using divine money to cook?" Lu Menger said, "I think the most powerful ones should be those guys who have refined the silver into divine money. They can produce that many in one day, as expected of Gods. That kind of power is not something we can imagine." All 4 native banks were making money and sending it to Gods realm, but today, Fengshan Native Bank had ordered 1.5 billion. If all 4 native banks had this amount, then it would be 6 billion Gods money. If there's a chance, let us see if we can get some divine money. I really want to know how effective refining with divine money is. Shui Xianxian said. Chen Xiang laughed. "Don't worry, I'll be able to get it soon." Returning back to the house, Steward Tai immediately came over after hearing that Chen Xiang had received a reward. "Maybe in the future you will be better off than me, but I hope you remember, you are here to earn big money. Even if you have a high position in the Fengshan Native Bank, you will never earn as much as when cooperating with us." Steward Tai told Chen Xiang through sound transmission. Of course, Chen Xiang didn't believe his nonsense. With Steward Tai's strength, he would definitely get a lot of money here. "The storage ring that I gave you can only hold 120 million silver. If you can fill it up every year, we'll give you more." At first, Steward Tai and Peng Rini only wished for Chen Xiang to get 10 million silver coins every year, but now that they saw how good Yu Fan was to Chen Xiang, he raised the original limit to 120 million silver coins. In this way, he and Peng Rini could get their hands on about half a fortune in a year, which was much faster than when they were trying to find ways to earn silver. "I'll do my best." Chen Xiang would never tell the guy in front of him that he had earned 50 million silver today. In the future, he would have to earn so much every day. For the next 10 days or so, he would need to fill 200 bags every day, which would make it easier for Chen Xiang to take away the silver coins. For this kind of thing, he did it more easily and he did not take it into consideration. "Looks like you're getting more and more familiar with it. In the future, after you finish your daily work, you can go for a walk outside. I'll give you your salary, 2,000 silver coins a day." In these past few years, it was the first time Yu Fan felt so good to be sent down. He was in a good mood, giving Chen Xiang a box of silver every day. Finally, he did not have to stay in the Fengshen native bank anymore. The moment Chen Xiang walked out of the underground workshop, he immediately walked out of the native bank gate and went to the streets outside. When Chen Xiang came out, he first went to the shops that sold weapons and artifacts. The few girls inside the dark jade ring were all interested in these things, and he wanted to get some for them to vent their boredom. I need to buy some refining materials. There should be a lot of things that Nine Heaven World doesn't have here. If possible, I want to buy a better crafting furnace. This way we can refine SPAC black iron very quickly. Lu Menger instructed Chen Xiang. Well, is there anything else? Ladies and gentlemen. Chen Xiang laughed. I want to eat. Long Shui laughed. As long as you have something good to eat. Elder sister Menger said it for me. Shui Xianxian said. Yulan, what about you? Is there anything you want? Ling Yulan thought for a while. Not at the moment, I'm not lacking anything right now. Dongfang Xinyue, Kong Bailing and the Pearl did not need anything either, but Dongfang Jing was still in closed-door cultivation, fusing with the vermilion bird inheritance fruit. Not long after Chen Xiang left the Fengshen native bank, Steward Tai caught up. Fang Yu, you're not familiar with this place. Let me bring you there. Steward Tai laughed. Fang Yu was a fake name that Chen Xiang had told Steward Tai and Yu Fan. It was possible that Steward Tai did not know about the H.E.L. Devil Emperor's bounty on him, but it was possible that Yu Fan would know about it. Old brother Tai, it's great that you're here. I just need to buy something. I'm not too familiar with the market price here. Chen Xiang was afraid of his shoulder. For the past 10 days, Steward Tai had been looking for him every day, and it seemed like the two of them had a good relations. H.I.P. Chen Xiang didn't have a good impression of Steward Tai and Pringrini. If it wasn't for him being a little capable, he would definitely be in great danger here. These two people didn't even put his life in their eyes, and now that they saw how useful he was, they would only treat him so well. Chen Xiang didn't have a good impression of Steward Tai and Pringrini. If it wasn't for him being a little capable, he would definitely be in great danger here. These two people didn't even put his life in their eyes, and now that they saw how useful he was, they would only treat him so well. After Chen Xiang and Steward Tai walked for a while, they had already left the vicinity of Fengshen native bank. At this time, Pringrini suddenly popped out from a corner. Pringrini was very concerned about Chen Xiang. He was still staying in the city, and would be waiting for news from Steward Tai every day. He wanted to know if Chen Xiang was competent enough for their plans, and if not, they had to kill Chen Xiang as soon as possible. Now, Pringrini already knew that Chen Xiang had done extremely well. Upon seeing Chen Xiang, he said while beaming, I already said before that I had sold you out, it's for your own good. But now you have tasted the sweetness, right? Chen Xiang scoffed, but in his heart, he agreed with what Pringrini said. Pringrini was right, bringing him into Fengshen native bank would give him great benefits, which Pringrini and Steward Tai did not know about. He wants to buy some things here, so you can go with him. You're quite good at this. Steward Tai handed Chen Xiang over to Pringrini and then returned to the Fengshen native bank. Pringrini knew that Chen Xiang could get a reward of over 20,000 silver every day, and with his current strength, it could be considered a pretty good income. What do you want to buy? I'm just a businessman, I can sell it to you for a cheap price. Pringrini patted Chen Xiang's shoulders and chuckled. Being so familiar with you, I will definitely give you a good price. The more he got to know, the more dangerous the situation became. Chen Xiang did not believe that he would do this. Take me to the store here first. If it's really more expensive than your store, then I'll buy your stuff. Chen Xiang smiled slightly. Merchant Pring, now is the time to check if your price is the lowest. He had experienced Chen Xiang's intelligence before, and he was still concerned about Chen Xiang's divine blade, but he was only thinking about it. He knew that in the next few years, Chern Xiang would definitely help him and Steward Tai get a large amount of silver, and that would be much better than the divine blade. What do you want to buy? Pengreni asked. The best materials for refining a saint artifact are those that can be refined. How much silver does it usually cost? Chern Xiang was not familiar with the market price here, but as an annihilator, Pengreni definitely knew a lot of things, so letting Pengreni bring him to buy things was not bad. Aren't you supposed to only forge pills? He even knows how to forge artifacts. Pengreni had thought that Chern Xiang was going to buy medicinal ingredients for pill refining, but he never thought that it was actually for refining. I don't understand. I just want to buy it here and sell it. Chern Xiang laughed. You still don't know when you'll be able to go back. Isn't it too early to think about buying and selling? Pengreni said. How much money do you have right now? A total of 130,000. Chern Xiang said. Manager Tai had previously given Chern Xiang 100,000 silvers. Pengreni was also aware of this matter. Pengreni said, there are materials to refine saint artifacts, but they are not cheap. Usually they are all based on weight. The more common ones cost 1,000 silver coins per kilogram. To Chern Xiang, this was extremely cheap. What about the better ones? Chern Xiang asked. Saint artifacts are generally divided into low-ranked, high-ranked, and holy-level crafting materials are also of the same kind. Low-ranked items are usually divided into low-ranked, high-ranked items, and holy-level crafting materials are usually of the same type, with the low-ranked items being of the high-ranked items being of the high-ranked, and high-ranked items being of the middle quality. Pengreni replied, What? Why don't you think it's expensive? Is it really that cheap? Chern Xiang replied, Isn't it? Pengreni pondered for a moment. In the future, Chern Xiang would be able to get 100 million silver coins every month, and at the same time, get 2 levels of 20 to 30 million silver coins. Lu Meng'er said, For the time being, we will use them to cultivate our hands. After we become proficient in them, we will buy some good ones to refine high-grade saint artifact. Shui Xianxian laughed. When the time comes, refining an entire set will not be a problem. I hope everything outside is peaceful. After that, I will stay here for a while, and find some D-level materials to familiarize you with. Then, I will begin to refine the Suzaku bow and the large SHI+P that can dodge the tracing mantra. Chern Xiang said. Pengreni brought Chern Xiang to a market. There were many stalls here, and it was a place where some people would risk their lives to obtain some heaven and earth treasures and then sell them. Chern Xiang followed Pengreni to a place that specialized in selling stones. There were all sorts of stones, and most of them were artifact forging materials, many of them were holy level materials. In Divine Prison, resources were considered rich. If not, there would not be so much black saint iron. Holy-level materials were not rare here. As long as one had money, they could usually be bought, and the rarest were the D-level materials. What do you need? Chern Xiang asked Lu Meng'er, who was inside the ring. Fire attributed. Although we cultivate ice and fire, we usually use fire techniques and ice to defend ourselves. If you want to forge a weapon, use the fire element. If you want to make defensive magical equipment or soft armor, use the ice attribute. Lu Meng'er said. Chern Xiang came to a stop in front of a vendor's stall. There were a few fiery red rocks placed there that were steaming hot, and it was obvious that they were pretty good materials for refining the fire element of the holy level. How much is this stone? Although it was only the size of an apple, it was still more than 10 kilograms and contained a terrifying amount of heat. Chern Xiang was sure that the fire energy being released from within must belong to the holy level. Here is a medium-grade sacred flame stone. 2,500 silver taels for 1 caddy. Here is 12 caddies. If you want them, I'll sell them to you for 27,000 silver taels. The old man who set up the stall said. Chern Xiang said, 2,001 caddy, I will buy all of the sacred flame stones you have here. You have 50 caddies of them in total, right? The old man considered for a moment before nodding. 100,000 silver taels. Chen Xiang gave him 100,000 silver coins to buy the 50 kilograms of holy flaming stone. When he was refining the sacred artifact, it was already very good to add a few holy level materials. Now that he had 50 kilograms of sacred flaming stone and some other holy level materials, the divine artifact he refined would definitely be very strong. Pringrini laughed. You spent 100,000 silvers all of a sudden, you only have a little now, you can't buy much anymore. Then lend me several 100,000 yuan, I'll return it to you next month. Chen Xiang smiled at Pringrini. Keep a low profile. You have just arrived here for a short period of time and already have over 1,000,000 silver coins. You will definitely arouse suspicion. Pringrini said. He was worried that Chen Xiang would have more money in the future and spend it everywhere, which would definitely attract the attention of the Fengshen native bank. Chen Xiang suddenly caught a glimpse of a big piece of black stone in one of the stalls. It had a hint of spatial energy, similar to AC black iron, but he was sure that this was not AC black iron, but a better material for carrying spatial energy. Chen Xiang really wanted to shake Pringrini off and change his appearance, so that he wouldn't be discovered by himself and by all sorts of refining materials. Chen Xiang really wanted to shake Pringrini off and change his appearance, so that he wouldn't be discovered by himself and by all sorts of refining materials. Old Peng, then you help me pay first. That's fine, right? If Pringrini was not by his side, he would not even bother to cut the price. Chen Xiang squatted down and touched the black rock. It was as big as a water jar, but it only weighed about 2 to 3 kilograms. This is the materials to refine storage magic treasure, right? Chen Xiang asked. That's right, but this is different from the ordinary materials used to refine storage magic treasure. The other materials are not allowed to enter, but this can work. This type of stone is called a dimensional divine stone. When refining storage magic treasure, add in a little, the inner storage S.P.A.C. will be able to connect with the outside world, and it will be able to absorb life energy, and it will also be very stable. The middle-aged man that sold rocks said, other than that, this dimensional divine stone also has the ability to open up S.P.A.C. Right now there is a dimension inside which the king's authority cannot sense outside. It's much better than the S.P.A.C. black iron. How much does it cost? This was what Chen Xiang needed. The boat that he was refining not only required S.P.A.C. black iron S, but also a few other things. There are 3 caddies here. The interior S.P.A.C. is not small. Even when refining a divine artifact, with just a little bit of integration, it would allow the divine artifact to have the ability to shrink in size. As for the price, this is the material for the God level. 1 kilogram is worth more than 300,000 silvers. I will sell these 3 kilograms to you for 1,000,000 silvers. The middle-aged man said. Pringrini told Chen Xiang, we can buy them later. Although there aren't many of these stones, but after you have the money, you can still buy them. Chen Xiang replied, help me buy it, I will return it to you anyway. Don't tell me you doubt my ability? Seeing Chen Xiang being so serious, Pringrini could only grit his teeth and help Chen Xiang buy it. Chen Xiang and the others were all excited when he placed the S.P.A.C. stone into his ring. They wanted to start forging a divine S.H.I+P right now, but they didn't have the materials for the rest yet. With this we can forge a very large divine S.H.I+P that can hide itself in A.S.P.A.C. at any time without being discovered. Lu Menger played with the dimensional divine stone. Do you need any other materials? Chen Xiang asked. I'll take this opportunity and buy everything. Shui Xianxian said, it would be best to buy some God level materials that have high resistance to attack. That divine book has mentioned it before. The better kind would be something called a top stone, Dongfang Xinhua added, and also want to buy some divine spirit flexible iron. These are also G.O.D. level materials and are good for refining formation plate. After Chen Xiang memorized everything, he asked Peng Rini, "Old Peng, are there top stone and divine spirit flexible iron here?" After Peng Rini heard this, his body trembled. "Are you really not an apothecary?" Peng Rini suspected that Chen Xiang was a crazed refiner. If not, he would not have missed this G.O.D. level material. "Of course. Didn't I already say it? I want to take some back to sell," Chen Xiang said. "Of course there are top stone here to sell. But do you know that top stone are different from the dimensional divine stone that you just bought, even though they are all G.O.D. level materials?" Peng Rini's face became serious. One glance was enough to tell that the top stone were not cheap. "Where is it different?" Chen Xiang asked. "Divine weapons and armor are easier to sell. And these two types of divine equipment, with just a little top stone added on, will become very sturdy and hard to destroy. Divine weapons without this item are all items below 100 G.O.D. coins," Peng Rini said. "Top stone are sold by 100, 1 caddy for 100, 1 caddy for 1,000. There are only a few taels of silver here." Just now, Shui Xianxian said that if he wanted to get around 10 kilograms, it would require tens of thousands of G.O.D's coins. One needed trillions of silver coins. So expensive! At this time, Chen Xiang already had a certain understanding of divine money, and he also knew that there were no top stone on his green dragon demon-slain broadsword. Maybe there wasn't even a profound wood diamond armor on his green dragon demon-slain broadsword. Of course, the divine tools used to join the top stone S are even more expensive, because the top stone S are not easy to refine. "Then what about the divine iron?" Chen Xiang asked again. "This is an item used to refine array disc. It's rather cheap here, 500,000 silver per gene. It's enough to draw several array discs," Peng Rini said. Dongfang Xinhua said, 2 taels of divine iron would be enough to pull out a building as big as a courtyard. It would be enough to draw a very strong divine formation, so I just need to buy it for a few kilograms." Under Peng Rini's lead, Chen Xiang found the divine iron, bought 4 kilograms, and spent 2 million silver coins. "It should be about now. I don't have much money on me anymore." Peng Rini knew that if he continued to hang out with Chen Xiang, he would go bankrupt sooner or later. Alright. Chen Xiang planned to come out and take a look after he got back. After all, this market was not going to close at night. Peng Rini heaved a sigh of relief, then sent Chen Xiang back to the Fengshen Native Bank. Not long after Chen Xiang entered the Fengshen Native Bank, he came out on his own. This time, he changed his appearance. He had 1 billion silver on him, which could be considered as a small sum of money in this place. Top stone S are really good stuff. If I were to refine a divine weapon with a large amount of this inside, wouldn't it be very powerful? Chen Xiang really wanted to get some top stone, but this place only had a few liang of it. He couldn't afford it. "I never thought it would be so expensive. If your future divine S.H.I plus P were to weigh a few kilograms, you wouldn't need to be afraid of being attacked." Shui Xianxian sighed. "Looks like only by going to G.O.D.'s realm in the future can I get it." Chen Xiang wandered around the market for 4 hours, and a large amount of holy-level artifact forging materials were thrown out in that instant, all to relieve the frustration of the few artifact forging queen inside the ring. "I'll go look for someone to sell medicinal herbs now." Chen Xiang's current soul was unable to level up to become an emperor soul because his body was too weak. He urgently needed to get a holy pellet with a stronger body. Celestial pills were not very valuable here, because most of the people here were saint rulers. Only the Jupin spiritual danas were slightly more expensive. A level 8 celestial pellet could only be sold for 10 silver coins at most. Chen Xiang bought a large pile of sacred animal dan and gave it to Long Shui to eat. The Jiupin spiritual dan-s were eaten by more people, so the price was a little higher. It required 3,000 silver coins to eat one pellet, making Chen Xiang very happy, because he had Jiupin spiritual dan-s to sell for medicinal ingredients. There was also a holy pellet here, but compared to the price of the holy pellet, it was like comparing heaven and earth. Chen Xiang had asked around before. The lowest quality holy pellet could be sold here for 50 million silver coins. There weren't many holy elixirs here, and there were almost no saints who could refine holy elixirs. Even in God's realm, saints who could refine holy elixirs were very respected, and normally wouldn't be sent to divine prison. The sacred pills here were brought by people who could travel back and forth from the God's realm, such as Yu Fan. Furthermore, some of them carried sacred pills and were sent to the divine prison to be sold here for money. If I can refine a sacred pill, I will earn money as quickly as I earned it. Chen Xiang was very confident in himself. Even if there weren't any holy level medicinal herbs here, he would still be able to rely on the ones he had collected in the past to make copies. I think it's better to get it from the warehouse. Long Shui laughed. Of course, I need to take a little more and exchange it for some divine money. It might be useful in the future when I go to God's realm. Chen Xiang felt that he could earn a lot of money here easily. If he could get 100 million silver coins every day, it would be equivalent to earning a lot of money. Chen Xiang came to a shop that specialized in producing treasures and weapons. The moment he entered, he saw a few small cauldrons placed behind the shopkeeper. He had heard that these stores had a cauldron that could quickly refine ingredient. Most of the time, when he started to earn money, he would have to look for the black holy metal for himself to create it. It was very tiring, and when he saved up some money later on, he could buy a cauldron to assist in the production of silver. The cauldrons that Chen Xiang had seen had this function. Which of these cauldrons are good? Chen Xiang asked. He did not buy it to make money, but to refine black iron out of a lot of stones. This would reduce the workload for Xue Xianxian and the others, and not to work so hard. This is for the best. As long as you have enough flames to pour into it, the interior will be able to automatically refine it, and you will be able to quickly refine black sacred iron or other holy level materials. The shopkeeper took out a small silver cauldron. The black saint iron here was also mixed with many stones, and it needed to be refined in order to obtain the purest black saint iron. With the help of these cauldrons, it could be refined even faster. How fast can it be? Chen Xiang asked. You can put in 1,000,000 gene of miscellaneous stones at one go. It'll be done in a moment. Not only can it be used for refining, but it can also be used to forge a furnace. This is a divine furnace, the manager said. How much is it? Was already moved. 500 kilograms each time would allow him to refine 10 kilograms of black iron. If it was Lu Menger and the others who used the furnace he had brought along, they wouldn't be able to do it so quickly. Refining that divine vessel would require them to be at least 50,000 kilograms of black iron. This. 5 gold coins, you can use it if you want. 500 million. The manager said. This cauldron is a divine tool, and it does have this value. Chen Xiang took out a few storage bags and handed them over to the shopkeeper. Count them out, Chen Xiang said. The shopkeeper finished counting very quickly, then he handed the silver cauldron over to Chen Xiang while chuckling. The shopkeeper liked customers that didn't have a bargaining price. Of course, there weren't many people who could afford 500 million so easily. Chen Xiang felt that this silver was too easy to come by, so he wasn't that rare. He would be back in a few days anyway. What's more, the things that he bought were all very useful. When he returned to the Fengshen Native Bank, Steward Tai was waiting for him outside Chen Xiang's residence. "What's going on?" Chen Xiang saw that Steward Tai's expression was unnatural and asked anxiously. "During this period of time, you have to be careful. Feng Shen's disciple is coming here, so you had better take off the ring," Steward Tai told Chen Xiang through sound transmission. HELL Devil Emperor was also a god, and a rather famous one as well. However, because he was in charge of HELL, he gave off a very bad impression. Although Chen Xiang and HELL Devil Emperor had never met him, they were enemies. HELL Devil Emperor was also a god and a rather famous one as well. However, because he was in charge of HELL, he gave off a very bad impression. Although Chen Xiang and HELL Devil Emperor had never met him, they were enemies. Chen Xiang was worried that the HELL Devil Emperor would hand over 4 divine deities, and was worried that this matter would spread to God's realm, and his appearance would be known by the HELL Devil Emperor as well. Right now, Feng Shen's disciple had come to this place, causing him to worry. Furthermore, the fellow who came this time was a genuine god. He was extremely powerful, much stronger than the arrogant wolf god who had been suppressed in HELL for many years. This Feng Shen's disciple is called Tian Hao. He is a little god in the God's realm and is not very strong in the God's realm, but he is a very terrifying guy to us. At that time, you must be extremely careful, and it would be best for you to be able to control your own thoughts. Steward Tai warned Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang nodded with a serious face. He was also extremely worried for the little god called Tian Hao. On the second day, Chen Xiang arrived at the entrance of the silver warehouse very early. Today, he arrived earlier than Yu Fan, so when Yu Fan arrived, he was very satisfied. "Tomorrow, my master will come. When that happens, you have to be careful not to speak too much," Yu Fan said. Chen Xiang nodded. 200 bags today. After Yu Fan opened the door to the warehouse and entered, he gave Chen Xiang some storage bags. Yu Fan thought for a bit, then gave Chen Xiang another basket of storage bag, and said, "Get another 200 bags and get the ones for tomorrow as well. My master is coming over tomorrow, and I can entertain him when the time comes." Chen Xiang was overjoyed. To be able to prevent him from seeing that Tian Hao, that was what he wished for. All right. Chen Xiang immediately started his construction. Just like before, he took out a small jade hut and went inside to cultivate. "Yesterday I lost a lot of blood and bought a divine furnace. I spent over 500 million silver coins to make up for it today." Chen Xiang was secretly happy. It had only been one night, but the amount of silver here had increased by a lot, and the holes above would always drop silver coins. Chen Xiang did not show mercy. He was also a little worried that Tian Hao would see through his ident. 1. Tai and not have a chance in the future. He had the courage from a dozen or so days ago, but now, when Chen Xiang casually took away the silver, it was extremely crazy. When he finished his work, he received 1.5 billion yuan. Now that he had 2 billion yuan, he was very satisfied. However, Yu Fan did not look at it too much. He received Chen Xiang's storage bag and walked out of the warehouse with a frown. He did not even give Chen Xiang any money. Today, 400 bags were equivalent to 4 billion silver coins. It was normal for them to be empty all of a sudden, but Yu Fan did not suspect anything. This fellow is definitely at a bottleneck and is in a bad mood. However, his teacher should be able to guide him when he comes tomorrow. Long Shui laughed. "You can go around leisurely tomorrow." Chen Xiang snorted. "Easy on you, head, I still need to concoct pills. As long as I can concoct the holy pellet, I can openly earn money." Lu Menger said, "If you were to sell a large amount of holy pellets here, it would definitely attract the attention of the God's realm. I'm not afraid, I'll just change my appearance. By the way, how are you doing? Is that stove working? But it took me 500 million silver. Chen Xiang asked. The progress is very smooth, and before long, the SPAC black iron can be refined. Ling Yulan said. It's pretty fun. Brother, you better think of a way to get some top stone, and get as many as you have. Otherwise, who knows when you can start refining? Dongfang Xinyue replied. Actually, there's no need to rush. Devil Emperor's hands can't reach out here, and our smithing level also needs to be improved. We can first settle with the high-grade saint artifact, and then we can refine some of the more common divine weapons. Shui Xianxian nodded. When we are completely confident, we can start refining the divine vessel. Those ingredients are all very precious. If we fail, we will lose a lot of them. If we were to succeed in refining the divine vessel, we can pretty much start to refine the Suzaku Bao, and at that time, you will be able to gather the 4 symbols divine weapons. Alright, I'll train hard myself. When I have enough strength, I'll be able to control the powerful divine weapons. Once the 4 symbols divine weapons is gathered, they will definitely become a lot more powerful, just that I don't know what will happen next. Chen Xiang was very much looking forward to this. He returned to his room and set up a barrier around his room. He then started to refine a Tier 8 Immortal Consolidating Equipment pill. Once it was completed, he could buy Jiupin's spiritual dance herbs. He was getting closer and closer to the holy elixir. Refining the solidified spirit pill was not as simple as refining Tianlong Dan and Sacred Animal Dan. It was a lot more difficult. Chen Xiang's time was rather tight, because he had to go to the warehouse every day to work. Unlike the past, he could not continuously cultivate and refine pellets in seclusion, so he was very careful when concocting the soul consolidating pellet. He had been refining for a full 5 hours. For him to have been so cautious in concocting pills for so long, it was normal for him to succeed. However, this time, he failed. What's going on? Chen Xiang opened the furnace and took a deep breath, discovering that the medicine aura were in the wrong. That B-A-S-T-A-R. D. Pungrini, there's a problem with the medicinal ingredients he sold to me. Chen Xiang was secretly furious in his heart. If not for the problems with these medicinal ingredients, he might have been able to succeed. Chen Xiang took out the other medicinal ingredients that he had copied. After an hour of examination, he discovered that there was one that was not good. These were the first 2 medicinal ingredients that he had copied. There's something inside. Chen Xiang frowned. What exactly is this thing? After studying it for more than 2 hours, he realized that the spiritual energy contained within was very strange. This guy. Chen Xiang became even angrier. Does he want to use this kind of mental power to control me? Long Shui said. It's very possible, even though this guy is laughing all day, he's not any good person. You have to be careful of him, even Steward Tai is better than him. I know. Chen Xiang carefully examined the other medicinal herbs, but he did not find any other problems. If it was refined using the foreseeing alchemy, it would most likely succeed. I just don't know what would happen if I eat it. Chen Xiang snorted. This guy probably doesn't think that I will be able to refine it either, but he still keeps it in mind and added a few more things inside. If by any chance I succeed after eating it, I'll be at his mercy. At first, Peng Rini gave Chen Xiang a good impression that he trusted him completely, but now, his good impression of Peng Rini was completely ruined. At first, Peng Rini gave Chen Xiang a good impression that he trusted him completely, but now, his good impression of Peng Rini was completely ruined. If there's a chance in the future, I must let him see my power. Chen Xiang continued to refine pills. The day of leave that Yu Fan gave him was about to pass. He needed to hurry and get used to the time. If he could concoct this soul-consolidating pellet, and get familiar with it, he could become a Jiupin spiritual Dan and then reach the holy pellet. In the early morning, when there were many chirping birds outside the small house, Chen Xiang opened the door and stood inside the small yard to take a deep breath of the morning fresh air. Although he was able to successfully refine the spirit-strengthening pill, the ingredients used were all made using Pingrani's copies, so he did not dare to eat them. Chen Xiang came to the silver warehouse very early today, but that Yu Fan had arrived even earlier. When he reached the door, he saw Steward Tai giving him a meaningful glance from afar. He immediately understood that Tian Hao was in the warehouse. He hurriedly took off the storage ring that Steward Tai had given him and placed it inside the ring. As for the ring, he didn't know where to hide it, as he had a feeling that it would be discovered as well. Put it in the Divine Sense Sea. Although your Divine Sense Sea is just in spirit, but it can be placed into divine deity, spirit, or even a sacred pill. The Dark Dragon Ring can also be placed there, however, it can't be placed there for too long, or else the ring will become unstable, and we will be in danger. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang immediately followed Long Shui's instructions, with a thought. He controlled the ring to enter his Divine Sense Sea. This technique was indeed effective. He could clearly feel the invisible ring disappeared from his finger. Only then did he walk into the warehouse with a sense of relief. Yu Fan was already inside, and there was a tall and skinny middle-aged man standing beside Yu Fan. He looked very ordinary, but gave Chen Xiang a very strong pressure, causing Chen Xiang to be secretly alarmed. In his view, the person in front of him was much stronger than the arrogant wolf G. O.D. Previously, Steward Tai had told him that Tian Hao was a true G. O.D. and that Chen Xiang's concept of strength was only on the level of arrogant wolf G. O.D. But now that he had experienced the power of this kind of G.O.D., he truly believed that he could be easily crushed to death at any time. "Greetings, milords." Chen Xiang hurriedly bowed. He was extremely nervous in his heart. It was all because of the formless pressure that came from Tian Hao's body. Yu Fan and Tian Hao both nodded. Their master and disciple pair were the same. They never had any other expression, just an indifferent expression, seemingly very cold. However, Chen Xiang felt that this was related to their cultivation technique. This is today's mission. Yu Fan had given Chen Xiang 100 storage bag, so there weren't many today's matters. Chen Xiang took the storage bag and walked over to the side of a piece of silver. Right now, even if he was given 100 guts, he wouldn't dare to play tricks in front of a G.O.D. He knew that Yu Fan being placed here was not a good job, but this was also not something he could decide. Yu Fan being able to find a decent person to complete these boring jobs for him and take the time to cultivate was not bad. "Master, you should head back earlier. I'm doing pretty well here, so you don't have to worry about me," Yu Fan said. Tian Hao sighed. "Hel Devil Emperor is really too lawless. They actually came here to arrest him. I don't know what he's planning to do to this place. You must be careful not to come into conflict with him. Only the founder of the God of Fortune can deal with this fellow. However, if it isn't anything major, the God of Fortune won't do anything about it." Yu Fan understood Tian Hao's meaning. If he were to be bullied by the Devil Emperor here, he could not do anything unless he was killed. At that time, should we help the Devil Emperor capture him, so that he can leave as soon as possible? Yu Fan asked. No need, because Devil Emperor is in charge of this terrible mess called Many big shots gave him face. Otherwise, if they brought down the Devil Emperor, someone would have to go to to take over the job. As long as Devil Emperor does not go overboard, no one will say anything about him, Tian Hao said. When Chen Xiang heard this, he was extremely shocked. Devil Emperor actually had a way to come here. L Devil Emperor was unable to enter the 9 Heaven World S and Endless Heaven Realm. If he were to personally go there, then it would be against the rules set down by the Gods realm. However, entering the divine prison was different. He would not break any rules here. What kind of fella provoked the L Devil Emperor to actually let the L Devil Emperor spend so much, bribe the penalty heavenly God, and then personally come here to arrest him? Yu Fan sighed. This divine prison had been quiet for so long, it was finally going to be lively. Tian Hao said, L Devil Emperor will not come personally. It would be too much of a burden for God with his strength to come here and capture someone. However, he can send subordinates over. Those subordinates of his are all very strong. Chen Xiang was very nervous just now, but he was much more at ease now. As long as the L Devil Emperor did not personally come, he would be much safer. At that time, no matter what requests the people of the L Devil Emperor make, or what conditions they have, we must never agree to help them capture others. My master had instructed me before, he must not care about the other native banks, and the people of the Fengshen native bank definitely cannot have anything to do with them. Tian Hao warned Yu Fan very seriously. Right now, the Fengshen native bank was being managed by Yu Fan. Yu Fan repeatedly nodded his head. I also know that there was a conflict between Master and L Devil Emperor. I will definitely remember it. Tian Hao's master was Fengshen, also known as Yu Fan's Grand Master. Chen Xiang laughed in his heart. He was staying in the Fengshen native bank right now, so if the L Devil Emperor wanted them to hand over the person, would they hand it over or not? Tian Hao said, this is not because of the conflict between Master and L Devil Emperor. There are other factors. The main reason was that the L Devil Emperor was not popular. Although he cleaned up this mess of L very well, he had also used L to rapidly increase his own strength. Right now, the Gods are worried that one day, he has enough power to command the Gods realm. Yu Fan frowned. Could it be that the Gods have already planned to make their move against him? Tian Hao said, it's only a part of my consciousness. Even I don't know much about this sort of thing. In short, Master had warned us not to get involved with the L Devil Emperor at all, or else those who are on good terms with the L Devil Emperor will be punished. Chen Xiang did not expect that the Gods realm was also in a mess. The L Devil Emperor has sent someone. The guy who has come is definitely the regular army of the L Devil Emperor, and is different from this kind of guy. Although the L Devil Emperor did not come, Chen Xiang still felt a lot of pressure. Although the L Devil Emperor's territory was only in the infernal realm, the Gods realm definitely had its subordinates. It might not even be able to cultivate evil powers, so it would be even more difficult for him to deal with them. If only I could get rid of L Devil Emperor's tracing mantra faster. With Chen Xiang here, he couldn't use the power of the spatial laws at all. If it was the past, he could still hide in the tyrannical SPAC to hide, but now it was no longer possible. Could it be that the reason the L Devil Emperor sent out his son, arrogant wolf God, and L suppressing guardians was to force me into this divine prison? To me, this divine prison is a hopeless situation. Chen Xiang thought about it carefully and suddenly felt terrified. When the L Devil troop appeared outside of the life forest earlier, it made him feel that the L Devil Emperor was doing something to stop him from entering the depths of the life forest. Then, the L prince appeared again. If that was all, then this H.E.L. Devil Emperor had sacrificed a lot, and all of this was to make him look like a turtle in a jar in this desperate situation. H.E.L. Devil Emperor had used his divine deity to reward him for so long, but he still could not catch him. At that time, many people thought that H.E.L. Devil Emperor did not have any other methods. But now the H.E.L. Devil Emperor had schemed against him bit by bit, allowing him to enter the divine prison. As expected, this H.E.L. Devil Emperor is not simple. I have nowhere to go. Chen Xiang began to think of a way to deal with the H.E.L. Devil Emperor chasing after him. Divine prison was not big. He had nowhere to hide. Tian Hao came here from the G.O.D.S. realm to tell Yu Fan about this. After Tian Hao left, Yu Fan immediately went into the Jade Hut to cultivate. Right now, Chen Xiang did not have the mood to take the money away, because a huge crisis was about to befall upon him. Once his ident. 1. Tai was exposed, he would not be able to work here either. Looks like I have to think of something tonight. Chen Xiang quickly finished his work. After he sent Steward Tai away, he laid on his bed and thought carefully about how to deal with H.E.L. Devil Emperor's chase and killing. Originally, he thought that he would be safe once he came to this place, but he never thought that H.E.L. Devil Emperor would have the ability to send his power here. Looks like I have to hurry up and leave this place. I need to get 1,000 gold coins as soon as possible. As long as he could return to the Endless Heaven Realm or the Nine Heaven World, using the power of SPAC, there would be impossible for the H.E.L. Devil Emperor to catch him. But here, his power of SPAC had lost its effectiveness and he wouldn't even be able to escape. Long Shui replied, "Isn't divine deity worth a lot? If you can get a divine deity here, sell it on your own hands, and don't ask for much divine money, just enough to buy 1,000. Divine deity were extremely expensive. Even the formed divine deity that were relatively inferior were all sold off at a very high price. If he has divine deity, it would be best to buy a Yu Fan. Because he is connected to the G.O.D.S. realm, he should also have some divine money on him." Chen Xiang said this was the only way to quickly obtain the divine money, but the prerequisite was that he had to obtain a set of divine deity. Peng Reni. Chen Xiang and Long Shui thought of this black-hearted fatty at the same time. Peng Reni definitely had his divine deity, but his strength was very strong and he was also very smart. It was not easy to kill him. I wonder when the people from the H.E.L. Devil Emperor will come. Hopefully they won't be that fast, because that way I would have enough time. Chen Xiang's plan to stay in the divine prison for the long term had failed. He had to come up with a new plan to escape. Chen Xiang worked as usual. Without the little God Tian Hao watching over him, he once again took out his silver coins. Chen Xiang worked as usual. Without the little God Tian Hao watching over him, he once again took out his silver coins. He knew from Steward Tai that in 1 month's time, the Fengshen Native Bank would implement even stricter management. He guessed that it was very likely that it was to deal with the people that the H.E.L. Devil Emperor had sent, which meant that he still had a month's time. If I can get enough silver from the warehouse this month, I won't have to think of anything else. Chen Xiang had more than 2 billion silver now, which was equivalent to 20 gold coins. If he wanted to collect 1,000 silver coins within a month, he would need to gather at least 30 silver coins every day. With things having progressed to this point, Chen Xiang could only wait until 1 month later before making any plans. In any case, the people from the H.E.L. Devil Emperor had not come yet, so he could only stay here peacefully. When the time comes, I'll have to sell the holy fruit. The sacred fruit should be quite valuable here. After Chen Xiang finished working, He went to the top of the street to find out the price of the holy level's medicinal herbs. My green dragon demon-slain broadsword should not be just rich. Pengrini must have intentionally lowered the price. Of course, Chen Xiang didn't want to sell the green dragon demon-slain broadsword. He just felt that Pengrini was really too much of a bastard. On the surface he looked like he was doing well, but after thinking about it carefully, he was actually scheming against him. The holy level herbs here were relatively valuable, but they could only be sold for tens of millions of silver, unless they were high-grade holy level herbs. Chen Xiang's current grasp of the holy level's medicinal ingredients were all of the lowest quality, but this gave him an additional method of earning silver. Looks like I have to take the risk in the future. Chen Xiang decided to take some extra silver from the warehouse every day. Maybe he would be able to gather enough after a month. After finus plus-ing his daily work, he did not have the spare time to idle around either as he was condensing the spirit liquid. If it's just holy level medicinal herbs, the price would definitely be very low. But if it's God level, then the worst kind of God level medicinal herbs can be sold for a pretty good price. Chen Xiang looked at the fiery red pearl. This was the fruit core of the earthly fruit. After confirming with him, the earthly fruit was a genuine divine fruit, only that it was one of the weaker ones among the God level medicinal ingredients. Right now, he did not know what the price was, but as long as he could get it out, he would definitely be able to find a good buyer and make a huge profit. Devil Emperor, don't think that I have nowhere to go. We'll see. Chen Xiang racked his brain, and finally thought of a few ways to help him earn money. If he was given a little more time, he wouldn't be so nervous. 20 days had passed, and Chen Xiang had taken a total of 30 billion silver from the warehouse. Furthermore, he had used his work time to run around and exchange it for God's money. In such a short period of time, the amount of divine money he had could be said to be incredibly fast. Many people had stayed here for hundreds of thousands of years, but they still couldn't obtain as much. Of course, this was all thanks to the underground palace that made the money. Although he already had quite a bit of delay money, he was still far from 1,000. Just as he finished his work, Chen Xiang was already on the streets when he suddenly saw a portrait on the wall. That was a bounty order for him, a total of $30,000. To Devil Emperor, 30,000 was simply a drop in the bucket. Previously, when Devil Emperor had placed a bounty on Chen Xiang, 4 divine deities would be considered a big deal, but one divine deity was able to sell for a very high price. Compared to the 4 divine deities, 30,000 God coins was nothing. But here, 30,000 gold coins was enough for 30 experts to form a small team to deal with him. The other requirement of the bounty token was to capture them alive. This could be a bit difficult. I was too careless. If I had changed my appearance back then, I wouldn't have had such a headache right now. Chen Xiang regretted that he did not change his appearance when he first entered this place. He had to use his original appearance until now, otherwise, he wouldn't have worried. He originally thought that it would take a month, but now, he was actually 10 days ahead of schedule. Now, he couldn't return to the Fengshen native bank. 30,000 was not a small amount of money. The people who were imprisoned in this place had to spend their entire lives trying to gather enough money to pay $1,000 to leave this place. Maybe only people of Yu Fan's level would not be interested in this delay money, but it was hard to say for Pengrini and Steward Tai, especially Pengrini, who believed that he was definitely looking for him everywhere right now. When Chen Xiang saw the portrait showing him the bounty, he immediately changed his appearance. Just as he was about to turn around and leave, he saw Yu Fan standing behind him. Yu Fan looked at his eyes, then looked at the portrait that was bounty on his head. Then, she sent a sound transmission to him. I know you're Chen Xiang. Lord you probably won't come and capture me for the $30,000, right? Qin Xiang replied. If it's for divine deities, I will consider it. However, if I really want to capture you for 4 divine deities, I fear that I will be expelled from the sect. Follow me. Yu Fan turned and walked towards the Fengshen native bank. Chen Xiang had previously heard Yu Fan and his master Tian Hao's conversation. Fengshen and H.E.L. Devil Emperor had a grudge, so Yu Fan definitely did not dare to help H.E.L. Devil Emperor catch someone. Many people in the Fengshen native bank knew Chen Xiang, and Steward Tai was currently with Peng Reni, searching for him everywhere. However, he did not know that Chen Xiang had already followed him back to the Fengshen native bank. Yu Fan's residence was at the most peaceful place in Fengshen native bank. Chen Xiang sat opposite to him and watched him quietly drink his tea. Lord Yu. Chen Xiang wanted to speak, but was cut off by a wave of Yu Fan's hand. I know your situation. Actually, you've been going to the warehouse for money recently, right? The usually cold Yu Fan smiled at Chen Xiang, but his smile was not very ugly. When Chen Xiang exchanged the silver for the divine money, he changed his appearance. He was sure that no one would know, even if Yu Fan found out that he had stolen some silver from the warehouse, they would not know how much it was. I'm sorry, I was forced to leave this place in a hurry. Chen Xiang sighed. Yu Fan was not stupid. He knew that the last time Chen Xiang heard him and Tian Hao's conversation at the warehouse, he knew that H.E.L. Devil Emperor would come here. It doesn't matter how much you take from the warehouse. I don't like the money at all. Yu Fan said indifferently. He looked at Chen Xiang with a scrutinizing gaze. H.E.L. Devil Emperor once used 4 divine deities to offer you a bounty, but after you ran to this place, he cancelled the bounty and now, with the price of 30,000 gold, a large number of experts can move out. This made Chen Xiang feel that the H.E.L. Devil Emperor was trying to force him to enter this divine prison. Chen Xiang, do you know why A.G.O.D. of H.E.L. Devil Emperor would want to kill you? Yu Fan asked.